I don't think people like to hear that, but I think people in the West in general have just decided to not like Korean MMOs, regardless of their credential and regardless of how good the game is. So
because of the
I don't
history
really
of those
think
games. AION 1, AION Classic, Blade and Soul, Blade and Soul New, and most recently Throne and Liberty, right? Because that's the thing with Tensoft, they can make incredibly fun games. However, when it comes to management and monetization, this is where the drop-off point is.
Brother, are you genuinely this fucking gullible that you think that the people swiping on IN 2 right now are doing it through legal means?
It's much cheaper to do it illegally, yeah? Especially through the bot
Everyone
farms.
fucking INTs. It's the same shit as other games. This whole sentiment that this is only a thing that happens in Korean MMOs and that IN2 is egregiously pay to win is really fucking funny to me. The only reason why you think whatever MMO you played when you were 12 did not have people swiping to get progress and people cheating and bots and that the content was evergreen and so on and so forth, the only reason why you think that is because you were fucking 12.
How do you think they can make rifting live again with the PvP flag system? What would be the...
Oh boy. Do you have like a good 60 minutes ahead of you? Because
right. Because we have a lot of things to discuss, I've made the list. I'm prepared, chat. We have notes, like lots of shit to talk about. Yeah. Oh shit, I hit my screen. First of all, let's start with something we all missed. How about you introduce yourself to the viewers? I mean, half of them know who you are because they came with the raid, but just in case someone doesn't know you.
Yeah, let's pretend. Let's pretend. Yeah. So hello, I am the dude from the funny stream that makes the funny passionate videos that also played ION 1. So I played. I mean, to what extent do we want me to introduce myself? I guess because we can go
as much
go
as you
quite
want.
far back.
Go give your background, give your credentials. We're serious people.
Okay. So you know, about 31 years ago, I was born. So yeah, nah.
Not that.
So most seriously, I've been playing MMOs for like, oh my god, it's been 23 years at this point. Yeah, and I've been playing ION 1 since 2009, on and off. Some people may know me from the ION 1 days.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd like to think I was doing pretty well on the game, you know. But I was fairly knowledgeable, at least. I would like to think so. And now I'm playing ION 2, and with the way ION 2 is shaping up to be, with all of that experience that I garnered playing MMOs, like I know for a fact that this is going to be a good game. You know what I mean? And looking at that, looking at the content space of ION 2 in the West right now, I felt like I wanted to do something a bit more, you know? Like I felt like there was something missing. So this is why I started streaming. This is why I started making videos. And yeah, here I am right now.
Let's crack on.
It's gonna be difficult to not sound arrogant when you present yourself. It's like, oh, yo, guys, here's what you should give a shit about me. Like, yeah.
Pretty much.
Also, I guess another thing that is fairly important to mention is both of us have experience in like NCSoft MMOs at large, not just ION as well. Like I know, like I extensively played Throne and Liberty. I played a little bit of BNS as well. I think you also did. And I don't know if you played Guild Wars 2 as well. I mean, I don't know if that counts as an NCSoft MMO, but
not really. I think it doesn't really, because it's managed by ArenaNet and they're doing a fantastic job anyway. So similar to you, I started my journey with Lineage 2. Then that went into ION 1 for 10 or 11 years on and off, excluding private servers, and then ION Classic. Then I went to Blade and Soul, and then we have Blade and Soul New as well, and Throne and Liberty, and now ION 2. So yeah, when it comes to like the direction of stuff, we have quite the sort of PTSD, should we say? This is a good way to sort it out.
Let's just say a good understanding.
Yeah, you know, let's sum it like this. Let's sum it like this. Right. Without any further ado, let's crack on, shall we? First topic on the agenda is Season 3. We are 1 week into Season 3. It might be fairly early to judge it, but how do you feel about it so far, based on what we've seen in the roadmap, some of the fixes we're getting even this week, some of the fixes we got last week? Yeah, what's your opinion on that?
So, okay. I guess I will start with the pre-season 3 stuff. I was a bit surprised to see that season 3 was going to implement basically the same amount of content as season 2. Like I thought season 3 would be a more like chill prep patch, more QL patch, considering we
Catching up
kind
type
of
of.
know, yeah, like just to iron things out because there's definitely a lot of things to iron out on the game to like stabilize it and everything, both in preparation to global and also the fact that we kind of already know that season 4 is likely going to be the level 15 expansion, right? So I didn't think we weren't gonna get that much. So first impression was, what the fuck? Where are they pulling all of this content off from? So that was the first one, and then the the very first, I guess, opinion I've had of season 3 is that it was maybe a little bit of disappointment because I thought for sure that the first wave of like major class changes and class balance and everything would come with the beginning of season 3 because they've been hinting at it for a while. Like they said, okay, we've been struggling with balance. Now we are making this special task force that is specifically focused on balancing and everything. And this next patch, season 3, is going to be the one that's going to bring forward that first balance patch. And then it was like, XD just kidding, we're delaying it 2 weeks actually. So
I
that was a bit disappointing.
the
But go
just
ahead.
to feel you on that when they mentioned that like, oh, we realized that the balance patch also would mean nerfing classes and abilities, and I'm like, after 25 years of experience in MMO scene, you finally come to the right conclusion. Well fucking done, NCSoft. Well fucking
And
done.
then they buffed Assassin, so it is what it is.
It's trial and error, trial and error.
Yeah. But I don't think I think the balance patch that came alongside season 3 was like done stuff done pre that like task force.
Yeah,
I think that's I do believe that the bulk of the changes is going to be coming on the 22, like on the 22nd. Like the patch on the 22nd is going to be a very major one. And if I'm gonna be honest, I think if we want to discuss season 3 stuff, we're gonna have to do it after this patch because
yeah,
right now, what we have doesn't so much feel like season 3 as it feels like season 2 plus 1. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
we,
2.5
we, yeah,
pretty
like
much.
we are getting we are getting basically like one extra week of season 2 with like a new dungeon and
Yeah,
like a central abyss that doesn't chug massive balls. Like that's basically it. So, and on the topic of the abyss, the central abyss has shown me one thing, and it's that this game's PvP can be fun if it doesn't involve fucking flying. And I hope they got the memo in that when Ednan and Morheim inevitably comes alongside the Rifting, alongside maybe Upper Abyss, they're gonna stop with the flying bullshit. Because I don't think anybody likes it, and I think it undermines a lot of the qualities of the combat in this game. Because, bro, from Iron 1 to Iron 2, we basically lost some of the more like specific tech, like slide sharding, jump
yeah.
casting, slide casting, so on and so forth.
Which were
And
very
we
basic
traded
client
with
specific as well. You
yeah,
have
and we
to.
basically traded that for the specificity of dodging and timing your dodges, perfect dodging CCs,
And blocking
so on and so
abilities,
forth.
active blocks.
Yes, yes. And all of that doesn't exist when you fly because for some reason they decided that you can't dash in flight.
I
So
mean,
you just left. Hmm?
until recently, we like melee classes couldn't even use their gap closing ability, like Chanter
Yeah,
does
yeah.
with the. So that was a nice fix they added. And one of the reasons why.
Well, it was a nice fix for the melees, not so much for the range.
Listen,
Yeah,
listen. We have to get something as well. Like it sucks being a
yeah.
melee in flight, but this is one of the things. Like I don't know, because I know flying is part of Ion's identity, and people flying in wings and stuff. It's actually what got me to the game in the first place, because I first played Perfect
Mm-hmm.
World, and then I saw the flying, and I was like, "Oh, this is amazing." But then, like even in Ion 1, the flight PvP was so bad, not only because of the fact that half of your abilities wouldn't work in flight, but they would also lock you in place. So even as a
Yeah.
sorcerer, like you wouldn't even have you could at some point you could blindly, but it was like very late patches, so you couldn't even light blindly as a sword.
Well, technically speaking, you could release wings to do it, like from the
It's a
beginning.
little
But yeah, it was,
technicalities. But
yeah.
yeah, so I don't know why they doubled down on flight in Ion
I
2.
mean,
Because even in Ion Classic, they had the wind sailor, right? And they were playing the idea with like being able to fly everywhere, and we can fly everywhere in Ion 2, which is great for traversal. But when it comes to PvP, it's kind of not good, no
And not just
bueno.
for PvP, in my opinion. Yeah, like the thing is, it's pretty obvious that they wanted to apply that vision because that was their initial vision with Iron 1, right? Because it's
Yeah,
Namjoon, it's the thing that you have to understand is the game director is the same one as on Iron 1. It's the same dude. So he wants to do the same shit that he wasn't able to do back then. Like, bro is operating on frustration, you know? So I get it. He tried to make it work, and he's trying to make stuff from the Iron Vision trailer work, and
I
that's
was
pretty obvious as
literally,
well.
yeah, I wanted
Yeah.
to play it out in the back. I can't spell vision.
So he's trying to make that work, but obviously, like, it, Iron One in many ways was a happy accident. You know what I mean? It was a mix of limitations, a mix of like their capabilities, a mix of the terrible fucking engine they decided to pick for the game that led up to the game
CryEngine.
being the way it was. Yeah, like, and ultimately, while I understand where he's coming from, like, because flight is not okay, they managed to make flight combat feel good in this game. It actually feels good. Like, you gotta give
Yeah,
them some credit.
yeah.
Flight combat feels good. It's from a mechanical standpoint that it just falls short because flight does two things. Number one, as I said, it undermines some mechanics like dodging, obviously. And then number two, when you look at something like rifting, which rifting has other problems, but
We
we'll
can
touch
get
upon
into
that in just a
yeah,
second.
later. Yeah,
Uh, when you look at rifting, because flight is available everywhere,
Yeah.
you kind of lose the entire sense of the map design because all of a sudden you can't really funnel player towards a choke.
specific location.
Yeah, like you can't really funnel players towards a specific location or a choke or anything to, through the magic of game design, have them encounter organically, right?
Yeah.
Because people are just flying over the fucking mountains anyways, right? So all of a sudden the entire map design doesn't work, which kind of sucks because Old Guard and Voteron both have a lot of potentials, both as PvP map and regular maps, right? But flight undermines it.
This
So
is this is one of my beefs with the game as well at the moment, is like, because we have these gorgeous maps, but after you level up and you do the CO dungeons and stuff, apart from duties and maybe you're trying to hunt hidden cubes, because like even gathering is a pain because of the bots, there is no real reason to go out. Everything should be one of those reasons, but we don't have good enough incentives at the moment, or at least for the average player, so that you don't spend like 3 hours trying to search for someone that's flagged for PvP. And I know that the
man,
devs
that
mentioned
feels like
last
a
time on
personal attack.
the no. I mean, no, because to be honest with you, like I enjoy watching your streams for that thing, because like with the rifting, at least I can get my fix with that. And I try to rift as well, but I don't know if I'm doing it on the wrong time, because we know we play on different times to the peak times in to the Taiwanese players. And I really couldn't find people. I would literally waste an hour trying to find people, and I would find someone. Either would get one shot because my PvP gear is dog shit, or I don't know, I would kill them in 1 second, and I would spend an hour, 1 hour, another hour trying to find them another person. So that's why PvPing in the Abyss is so much more worth it for the same time, right? So I know they wanted to implement bosses, but I guess one of the reasons why they didn't want to implement Rift specific bosses in the version they intended to, based on what they described on the stream last time, was because they didn't want people to join the Rift, go kill the bosses, then, you know, log out or something,
Yep,
because that
basically.
would pretty much undermine the efforts of it. How do you think they can make rifting live again with the PvP flag system? What would be
Oh
the
boy. Do you have like a good 60 minutes ahead of you? Because
mate? I know you're the busy one. I have no life. I'm 2 weeks free.
yeah, I mean, look, it's bro. Have you seen the fucking patch? I can probably make the patch note video while you're talking, dude. Like,
That just go ahead,
anyway.
man. Go ahead.
So okay, the thing with rifting is that it initially wasn't broken because rifting was designed without the PvP flag in mind, and it was designed with the idea of open world grinding for the pet system in mind, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
the basic idea was that people would go out in the world to farm for their genus, and that would breed the PvP encounters, as well as the duties, as well as, you know, the sealed dungeons, so on and so forth. But it ended up not working because there was so much fucking griefing happening with the sealed dungeons, with people just simply leveling,
yeah,
that they had to have a knee-jerk reaction because people were, because they were still like under severe scrutiny because it was literally the first week of the game, so they
yeah.
had to do something to fix that, right?
And
So
their
the
stocks are
knee-jerk
already
reaction,
plummeting.
yeah, and the knee-jerk reaction was to add the PvP flag. Now it fixed the problem, but the PvP flag inherently killed every single incentive to go out in the world with your PvP flag up and
Because
do
you were at a
shit,
loss.
right?
You were losing rank,
Yeah.
you were losing abyss points, you were losing time. Because if you wanted to progress, you would just put on the PV tag and do your SEO dungeons, go back and don't worry
And there's no
about it.
incentive, right? It's not like because you have the PvP flag, all of a sudden you're getting more rewards or something like that, right? There was just no reason for people to do that. And
Yeah.
then on top of that, they also made the pet grind virtually completely like irrelevant. You just farm your pets in the daily dungeon. You
Yeah.
basically never go out in the world to farm mobs, right? So now the open world as a whole is completely void of people, whether it's PvE or PvP, right? You're basically only meeting bots, right? So now they have to look at rifting, and what they need to do is incentivize people to not only PvP flag, but also roam the world. Now, I think there's multiple layers to that. I do think that they need to scale back a bit on the PvP flag. I think the PvP flag is a fine addition, personally, because Ion 2 has a lot of good PvE, and I do think people will be playing the game for the PvE only, right? And someone who does that doesn't necessarily want to get assaulted in the middle of doing his dailies, right? When the rifts are open.
Griefing,
So for that,
essentially.
I think the flag is fine, right? But I do think that you should not be able to PvP flag if you are above a certain rank threshold. Because right now, with the current ranking system, if you're like rank 5 or above, for example, it's pretty fucking obvious that you're doing PvP to begin with. And therefore, I don't think you should be able to PvP flag. Maybe you can raise that to rank 3, but I think there should be a threshold like that.
Oh,
That's
do
the
you
first
mean
step, right?
so do you mean just because as you were saying this, I'm like, okay, but what's the incentive to actually do it? If you cannot change to PV or permanently PvP, so let's say rifts are open and at that time you go do your dailies, someone is gonna invade Delios land, for example, and because you're automatically PvP flag, there would be some people to, PvP with.
Yes.
Is that the okay? That's a good proposal.
Like basically, there's two sides to it. There's number one, the people who are above this rank anyways. If they spend any amount of time in Old Guard and Verderon, they're going to be flagged for PvP. They're going to be targets, right? Which I don't think is a problem because you don't lose anything from dying anyways. So
I have a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how when you attack guards, you get automatically flagged for PvP.
Yeah.
What if they implement some kind of like camps? And obviously, when you attack the guards to turn it, you're automatically gonna get flagged for PvP, and those guards will give you like a medal quest or something, an incentive to roam a map. So like similar to Ion Classic, where one camp gives you the quests, but the quest where you are supposed to do it is on the other end of the map. So you get that quest and you have to roam to the other end. And because you cannot use Kibbelis in the enemy's land, you actually have to walk in on the way you're gonna find people to PvP with. How does that sound to you?
Well, that's the thing, brother. I was about to get to that.
Hey, I'm sorry, man. Like, okay, fine. Just chill.
But yeah, like the PvP flag is the first part, right? Like that doesn't incentivize people. It just naturally brings people. Also, all of these motherfuckers, like generals that just bought in the open Genius Crystals overnight, you will be able to kill those people as well, right? So that's an added bonus. You also do like pest control, right? So the second part is obviously would be adding incentives. So as you said, either using the camp system from Iron 1, which is tried and true. There's a reason why they did that shit everywhere. It's because it works, right? You put like camps to capture to get quests that brings you to the other side of the map to complete the quest and get a reward, whether it's medals or asphalt fragments or what have you, right? So that's one. There's other solutions, right? Like they have mentioned the use of world bosses. They could use world bosses, like basically, I don't know if you played Final Fantasy 14, like basically some sort of like fates. So fates are basically like dynamic events that happens all across the map. Like they spawn, there's a mob that spawn, a horde of monsters that spawn at a specific area. You have to do the objective to get rewards. Basically, have these spawn all over the map during the invasion time, something like that. And it could even be a PvPvE event because let's say if you participate with the PvE flag, you get PvE focused rewards. So you get Ariel Bolt fragments, March Returns fragments, regular mana stones. And if you have the PvP flag, you get Asphalt Bolt fragments, you get PvP mana stones, you get ranking points, stuff like that, right? So that's another solution. Another one that I kind of like would also be like PvP specific cubes. because obviously cube hunting is like something that they really want to incentivize with open world. So they could do something where when you kill players, it gives you a temporary key that you can use on special cubes that spawn all across the map only during rift timings, like purple cubes or something, that give you PvP related shit like AP, again, Astral Bolt fragments, PvP mana stones, stuff like that, you know? It's basically turning the idea of the Eye of Tamaranta, but putting it on the scale of PvP, right? Like you just have to look at the past and then do stuff like that.
Because
There's a bunch of stuff they can do, right?
to be honest, they had the perfect blueprint for incentivizing open world activities based on ION 1. So I know it's easy for me to say because I'm not a developer, obviously, and I don't have like stakeholders, just shouting behind me, just do this, do that. But, if they found a way to do that, like similar to Tiamaranta treasure chest, like you've said, that would actually be a good fucking way to go about it.
Yeah.
Maybe AP or medals or something. Because like right now, like I don't know how. Because like you do a lot more PvP than me, and you. What's your PvP gear right now, by the way? Which is it? Tier 3, tier 2?
I have 5-piece Centurion, 6 pieces Tribunus. The other 2 are Decanus. I'm gonna update them soon.
Okay, so how,
Mace.
as someone who's like very PvP centric, how easy it is for you to farm medals?
Like,
do you find it?
Okay, well, there's multiple pieces to that because number one, I play cleric, and number two, I have shit ping. So basically, anything that involves like world bosses and siege, I get fuck all. Like the only medals I get are mainly from Nama from those because you get a default token as long as you hit the boss.
Yeah.
So the bulk of my medals come from the seasonals, the weeklies, as well as the AP shop. On that front, it's an acceptable rate of attention, to be honest. Like I've been steadily making progress on my gear. The only downside to it so far is mainly platinum medals. Like I'm not really considering high commander gear like at all based on my progression. Maybe I will later when they ease up on them. But so far it's fine. I will say on the AP side though, I think we have reached a point where they can just fucking remove the cap because I just don't see the point for the cap anymore because we are spending, okay, so just picture this, right? Basically, you have a 500k AP allowance per week when you're like working cap to cap like me, right? And then on top of that, you have something between, depending on the status of your server, whether you're winning or not, like between the seasonals, the arenas, and the corridors, you have an extra allowance of, let's say, between 2 to 500k AP per week, right? Depending, right? So basically, let's say best case scenario, you have 1 million AP per week that you're able to spend on shit, right? So at the bare minimum, you're already spending like 4 to 500k on medals. That is already gone because they put the medals in the AP shop, and that is the most reliable way to get medals. If you're trying to buy platinum medals, you have 1 million AP that goes into that per week, and then you can't buy the other medals and you can't buy anything else, right? So that's the first part. And then on the other side, you have the PvP gear in itself, where you have to purchase, you have to spend between like between 2 to 500k AP per piece. You're gonna get like every week or every other week. So you have to add that on top of that, and then on top of that, you have the Stigma Shards, right? Which is, I think, the bulk of the AP that most people spend is into Stigma Shards, even though it's a bit easier to get now. So we kind of reach a bit of a conundrum where we have way too much shit to spend in that is basically mandatory, that just completely cock blocks you from spending AP anywhere else. And you can also soft lock yourself into, like, let's say you accidentally overbought too many stigmas that week and you can't buy all of your medals. And it doesn't roll over, so you just lose those medals, right? And also, the funny thing is, if you played ION 1, you will remember that you dedicated part of the AP you farmed from PvP into buying AP pots, right? That was just part of your routine. AP pots exist in this game, but people don't even probably fucking know about that because they cost AP, and ain't nobody was gonna spend fucking AP on an AP pot, you know?
Yeah, especially with how often you would have to, because how quickly you die, or like, how short the fights are. It feels like a waste because you're already losing AP and it's like double the loss almost, like, so it's kind of useless. So speaking of PvP gear, okay, since they nerfed PvP gear in PvE, do you think they should nerf PvE gear in PvP? Yes, no?
Yes, but with a caveat. The problem is that they can't outright nerf PvE gear in PvP because you're gonna fuck new players. because a new player that gets into the game is gonna have part PvE gear when he goes into PvP. Like, especially on the weapon and guards and stuff like that, right? So the main problem right now is faded gear and horn dragon gear. Like these two are the only ones, and the reason why they are a problem is because Soulbinds scale much higher on orange gear than they do yellow gear, right? And also you get extra lines big on crafted gear. So because of that, you're able to just scale your stat. There's actually builds in PvP that don't open up until you have orange gear. So once we have high commander gear, that's gonna quote unquote solve the problem. But until then, obviously PvE gear is just the easiest way to get it, especially because you can just swipe to get it, right? So if they want to nerf PvE gear in PvP, they need to specifically nerf orange gear.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the caveat. Yeah.
So, for example, Ludra weapon, because now we have extendable AP gear, although it's kind of like it's not going to be quick to obtain. So let's say Ludra, it has like what minus how many 5% PvP attack, some shit like that.
It would need to be more significant than that. Like the Soulbinds are genuinely, it's outlandish. Like both the base attack that you gain from the weapon and guard, as well as the Soulbinds, gives you an outlandish amount of stats. It is like if you look at the Tribunus weapon, right, and you compare it to a Horn Dragon weapon, you're looking at like a 500 attack differential plus the stats.
Yeah.
Like no matter how much PvP damage boost you put on that shit, it's not gonna matter. You know what I mean? So yeah, it would need to be something more drastic, and it would need to not be a set debuff like they did with PvP gear, because number one, sets don't apply to weapons, and the weapon is one of the main problem right now.
Yeah.
And number two, it would only apply from 2 pieces of gear up onwards. So people would just be able to still equip weapon and guard, and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What is the class easiest to farm medals with? Stinky asks currently.
What class has the easiest time farming medals?
Yeah.
I mean, every class is about the same. Like as I said, the only thing that changes is siege and world bosses.
Yeah.
And for both of these, what's going to matter is your personal DPS, because that's the only metric it's actually getting measured on. So obviously, playing whatever class has the most DPS. So right now, like the highest DPS class is Assassin, right? Gladiator, like Gladiator is not that far behind, although Assassin is just so far ahead that it's kind of crazy. But it's going to be a DPS class that is getting buffed by support classes, bottom line. And obviously, don't have hyping. that is the other one.
I'm currently looking at the tier list of classes right now. It's probably not as accurate. It's on the Shugo GG. We have on S overall, this is all modes. Let's just go for PV, for ranking. We have S tier Assassin, Gladiator, Chanter. We have A tier Ranger, Templar. We have B tier Sorcerer. And we have C tier Spirit Master, Cleric. Oh, doesn't seem quite right.
The problem with tier list is that
it changes week to week.
Like first of all, it keeps changing because obviously the game balance keeps changing, but also you kind of have to factor things that some people will value differently. Like when you look at Cleric, for example, obviously Cleric's personal DPS is like probably the lowest in game right now, but it also provides a lot of utility. It has resurrection. It has infinite healing and dispel. Like Cleric is more of a utility class, right? It's more confidence class, which, depending on how much you value that. Like, obviously, if you're doing a speed kill, you don't really want a Cleric, but for anything else, you do. So, yeah that's,
Let's see for PvP what they have, actually. Let's see Abyss. I don't care about the arena because it's whatever. Gladiator, Assassin, S rank. A tier, Templar, Ranger. B tier, Sorcerer, Cleric. C tier, Spirit Master. And D tier, Chanter. Like, the thing with Chanter is obviously, I can't comment on PvP that much because my gear is dog shit and I can only kill bots and maybe someone around my tier of gear. But like, we were PvPing with some friends here, and so I cast the shot, I cast the invulnerability skill. Let's say I cast the stun, but then obviously it doesn't stun because it's RNG. And then I'm left with left-right clicks, and that's it, or like Dark Rush. So that's the three like things I can do apart from the boss, because like 2 stigma slots are already taken by the mantras, which are mandatory. And then I have like 2 buffs, which one of my boss has like 1 minute and 30 seconds cooldown for 3 seconds duration. And then it has like the shield, which is like, I don't know, 1 minute cooldown. Oh, no, what is it? I forgot because they changed it for like, minimum amount of duration. So it's like, I don't know. How can they balance PvP more? Because like, how do you think we should have more iframes? Do you think we should I don't know. I like the if you've played Crystal Battle, another PC mobile game in arenas or whatever, they had like similar to AION dash iframes, but they also had a gauge where, especially in arena modes, where after a certain threshold, even if you keep getting attacked, you wouldn't get damage for like a few seconds. Then you have to disengage for a few seconds, and then you have to. Obviously, this would work in an arena setting. In open world, I don't know what they can do. Because to me, like, I don't know, it's too many stats in this game, man. There's way too many stats. That's for me is the problem. Way too many stats.
Honestly, the stats are not that problematic, especially after the formula changes, like separation between PvP and PvE. Now, I will say there's a lot of bloat. Like, why does natural MP regen exist? Like, just remove that shit.
Yeah.
But when it comes to fixing PvP, like, I mean, it's a bit of a difficult ordeal. I will say that the game is not very far from being fine enough. It's just one of those things where there's a mix of problems going on where they did a bunch of changes to classes prior to changing the damage formula and the stat formula in PvP that were specifically targeted towards certain things, right? Like, let's say, for example, they gave Assassin a dispel to counter invulns, right?
Yeah.
But now invulns are kind of not very good, right? Like, the invulns are very reasonable right now in their current state.
Yeah.
So, but as a result, Assassin has a fucking 5 buff dispel. That is completely insane in PvP, right? And it's another thing where they kept buffing like insignia explosion damage and they kept adding like cooldown reset and so on and so forth. So it basically, to me, if they really want to make the PvP, okay, if they want to quote unquote fix the PvP, they don't have to do much. I think the balance, as wacky as some stuff are, is like fairly decent. They don't need to tweak that much for the game to feel okay. Like, Soak needs a proper CC, like Derek needs Root to actually fucking function. They need to make remove shock actually protect you from CCs.
Shouldn't they lower the remove shock cooldown as well? Because it's like a minute and something, but fights don't even last 5 seconds.
I'll get to that. Like, it's basically like a balance between, do you want to make the game good enough, or do you want the PvP to be properly, fully well thought out? If you want to make it good enough, as I said, a couple of tweaks, you're probably good to go, right? If you want to make the game really good, they need to take a look at everything. Even the good classes are going to need some severe changes, right? Because as you said, Defiance right now is, I think the base cooldown is 45 seconds, right? And then it's reduced by illusion. I think mine is like 32 seconds.
Yeah.
But when you look at that, you have a 30-second Defiance, and then it gives you a buff that half the classes ignore and just stun you on anyways. And then I guess what we'll keep with Assassin, right? You have Assassin, right, that has Insignia Explosion, that has a less than 10-second cooldown to begin with, and that resets the cooldown every time they use, I think it's left click. So they end up being able to use Insignia Explosion like every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And every time they do, they roll the dice for a 4-second stun, right? And Assassin is not the only class like that. Templar also has that. Like, Templar has like, I think, 5 different CCs. Most of them are on the 10-second
cooldown. Roots, yeah. And they're like,
yeah,
Templars...
and then Gladiator also has that, and you know what I mean? So obviously it doesn't quite work, right?
Templar is kind of funny because not only they have like quite a few gap closers, but it's also like the pool as well with the root.
Yeah.
And then I'm at a fuck ton of stuns as well and CCs. On top of them being a impenetrable fortress, because every time I attack them, it's just like endurance. I'm like, holy fucking shit, just die, dude. And then, just when you think you've killed a Templar, you stun them, they Defiance, and look, their HP is almost full again. Like, okay, thank you. Speaking of HP, sorry, how do you feel personally as a healer regarding the healing nerfs in the Abyss? Because, man, as a chanter, I'm like, let me heal, please. Like, you know.
I think it's... Go ahead. I don't know.
Keep talking.
Okay.
Keep talking.
I think it's fair, personally. I do think it's fair, because with the current TTK, if you do Rift PvP, you see firsthand what happens if you don't do that. I don't know if you... Okay. This is not a self-plug, I swear. Have you seen the latest clip from my stream I uploaded on my channel?
I will open it. 1 sec. Actually, I want to put one of your videos on play. Where is it?
Because basically, something that some people don't realize because nobody fucking riffs is that the healing debuff is not active in.
No, wait.
Oh,
Do
this
you
is a
mean?
short.
Oh, you mean the video? Oh,
An
it's
actual
yeah,
video,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. This one, this one.
Yeah, the war crime one. Yeah. So the healing debuff is not active in rifting, and as a result, you see what would happen if it did not exist. And what would happen is that you would basically have completely unkillable supports, right? So I think
Yeah,
it's fair for it to exist. I do think that it's a bit okay. There's two sides of it in which I don't really agree. Number one, I think it impacts Chanta's recoup maybe a bit too much because
yeah,
it kind of makes recoup basically useless. I think it heals you for like 2k or something.
yeah.
Because
It's not even the.
as a Chanta, your healing doesn't scale off of attack, and you don't have a healing boost passive, as of I believe, right? So
We
obviously you
have
get
well,
impacted more by that.
we have the mantra and we have a shield that allows us to heal extra,
Yeah.
but it's not as effective as a cleric, obviously. So the only way we can actually survive is if we use Dark Rush and heal maybe from mobs and stuff. But again, that would be a waste if you use because like right now I rely too much on Marchton to proc my Dark Rush and just keep spamming that. But that's one thing I also
Yeah.
don't like is like if I don't have my Dark Rush up and it's what do I have like one stun that can get resisted quite often and it's like it's kind of like there's very little. I feel like there is very little ways to like outplay someone, if that makes sense. Because like for example in Ion 1 you have like obviously a lot more depth to the PvP with a lot more skills and ways to like sort of disengage and then sort of regain your balance and attack, cover debuffs, do some cool tricks and whatnot. But here it's almost like again like you either CC them, waste their defiance, and then you go with another CC and then you just kill them, or you die trying. If that's the TLDR from my POV, but I
I
don't
mean,
know.
on a fundamental level, you're kind of looking to do the same stuff as you did on Iron 1, right? Because you're
Yeah,
either looking to bait remove shock, or you're
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
cover the target, right? A lot of classes actually want to cover. So on a fundamental level, it's there, and then on the more technical aspect, you do have the opportunity to perfect dodge specific CCs as a counterplay, and then obviously with grounded PvP, you have more opportunity to do stuff like with the environment and so on and so forth. So I think it's okay,
yeah. Mm.
but just to go back on the healing thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, I think it just TLDR. I think it's fair. The only problem right now is that it doesn't impact life leech, and as a result, classes that can life leech are basically invincible in the abyss. But that is
yeah. I mean, I
something
had
that
an
I believe
assassin.
is going to get addressed,
I
right?
actually had an
So
assassin who like disengaged, went into hide, went to heal from mobs, went back full HP, and just destroyed the shit
yeah,
out of us. And I'm like,
I
brother,
mean, like literally before I hosted you, and the reason why I hosted you late is because I was in Central Abyss fighting a gladiator that was healing himself more than I was dealing damage with life leech by just hitting me, and I fought him for 10 minutes
brother,
until the maintenance started.
brother.
So, yeah,
Oh my
that's
god.
life leech is a bit much right now, but hopefully that is one of the things that's gonna get addressed
They
in 20
mentioned that
seconds.
in the
So,
last stream that they wanted to nerf it, right? Life leeching, because it's way too good right now.
yeah. Life leech is a bit ridiculous, but otherwise, I think the healing reduction is fair. Although they do need to add it to rifting as well. That's the I don't know if they forgot or if they just don't give a shit about rifting, but yeah, that's
I mean, it's a shame really because it's such an interesting game mode, and like it sort of creates a sandbox environment because for me sandbox elements are so important because obviously this is a dungeon grinder type of it's like a theme park MMO in its current state. So
mhm.
having these sort of PvP elements in open world rifting, or because like arena and battlegrounds, right? Like how often do people do it? Do people actually try it? Like to try hard? I mean, I know there's some tryhards in rankings for arena and battleground, but apart from that, I think the average Joe doesn't really go there because the average Joe can't fucking afford to get
So
the gear up to the point where it's actually acceptable.
battlegrounds used to be completely abandoned. Like you would be able to queue for 3 hours and not get a pop because nobody gave a shit. With the
Yeah,
more recent patch, they actually added medal rewards from battlegrounds. So if you participate 3 times, you get 6 gold medals and 3 silvers. So people are actually doing it now.
yeah.
Arenas, yeah, I mean,
It is what it
you don't
is.
really get anything other than like ranking grind. So unless you enjoy pushing the ranking grind, then. But the other problem with arena is that you have a clear meta that is defined with 1v1, right?
Yeah,
So if you don't play one of these classes, you're probably not making it out of either hell, right?
and you're
Like for
wasting
example, right
time.
now it's gladiator and assassin. So
Yeah. and you're kind of griefing yourself
Yeah.
because you could be spending
I mean,
this time farming something else.
and the consumables, dude.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that as
Arena is
well.
so hungry on consumables. It is crazy.
Well, to be honest, like we just went through all that. Like I have a list of topics and we just sort of like mix in between, but that's how a natural conversation happens. Let me
I
just
mean,
see
yeah.
if I have something more specific. What are the, let's say, top 5 or top 3 improvements you would want to see, in your opinion, that would make Global, I would say, moderately to a very successful launch? What are the top 3 or top 5 priorities you would reckon? Considering this is a PV focused game, like I think I need to keep it stating this because even NCSoft is like, this is a PV focused game. The PvP obviously is an afterthought, right? But because it's the legacy, sort of, it's the continuation of AION 1, which is a PvPV game. But because of how good the PvP felt and how good the combat system felt, we turned it into quite a PvP game as well, especially due to open world PvP. So
Yeah.
I guess this is the sort of like loaded question, but what do you think they would have to do to ensure successful global?
Well, I mean, okay. If the question was what would you personally do to improve the game, it would be a different answer. But if it's specifically targeted towards global,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, and I don't think people like to hear that, but I think people in the West in general have just decided to not like Korean MMOs, regardless of their credential and regardless of how good the game is. So
because of the
I don't
history
really
of those
think,
games.
yeah. So I don't really think there's any one thing you can do to change those people's minds, right? Because I mean, you've seen that there's a bunch of people that don't even know what the game is about
Mm,
that are calling the game dead on arrival, even though they never intended to even play the game. And that is both stem from the, MMO tribalism. If you've been in the MMO space for long enough, you know what that is, which
yeah,
is people stick to their one MMO. This is the one true god, and any other game is a threat to their game, so they must hate it by default, right?
yeah.
So obviously the game is a victim of that, just like any other game, right?
Just to add to your
Now,
comment, the other thing is like,
mhm,
because MMOs are a massive time investment, right? So if you dive into an MMO, you would want to ensure that this game is gonna survive the test of time, so that however time you spend on it doesn't feel like a waste, or just as you get committed to it and then it shuts down. Like I just got into New World and then they closed it down, right? And it felt like a massive waste. But this is another thing. So because of the trifecta, like Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, those type of games that have a legacy, they've been out in the market for like 15 years, even Black Desert Online, right? So people like, oh, my game, I know whatever happens, I can, move away from it and it would still be alive when I come back. So there's the other stigma of like, oh, I don't know if I should go with Korean MMO simply because of the history of the company as well, dude. Like NCSoft, no matter how much good faith we want to put into that, it's always like it's that sort of sour taste in the mouth because we've been through Ion 1, Ion Classic, Blade and Soul New, and most recently Throne and Liberty, right? So it's kind of like, even because that's the thing with NCSoft, they can make incredibly fun games, like no doubts about that. Combat, especially with combat systems, things like that, incredibly fun games, beautiful visual world, like worlds are beautiful in their own right. However, when it comes to management and monetization, this is where the sort of drop-off point is, and this is actually segues us nice into the next sort of, I want to say topic, but first, actually finish what you wanted to say because I asked you a question and I rudely interrupted you. As a segue, the things you would like to change apart from,
so specifically, if the changes are specifically to make the game more successful in the West, I mean, the thing is, those things are never gonna happen. So like, this is fucking fairy tale.
yeah,
But
wishful thinking.
obviously, like, oh, the world is perfect, dude. Oh, there's only one sub. It's only $10. There's no pay
Yeah,
to win in the game. There's no bots. The game is pay to play, and they remove Horn Dragon from the game, and then we all hold hands together and then in circle, and
and sing
everything is all
kumbaya, my
right.
lord. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, this is never gonna happen. And by the way, this I don't want to get mean. This whole sentiment that this is only a thing that happens in Korean MMOs and that ION 2 is egregiously pay to win is really fucking funny to me as someone who has played MMO for the past 23 years because, bro, like, the only reason why you think whatever MMO you played when you were 12 did not have people people swiping to get progress and people cheating and bots and that the content was evergreen and so on and so forth. The only reason why you think that is because you were fucking 12. You had 2 hours at best to play per day, and MMOs were a new thing to you. But let me tell you, as someone who actually played MMOs back then, I played Final Fantasy 11. The game was buy to play, subscription only. There was no additional services or purchases. Bro, you could not even pay to change your name. All right. That was not even, they
Imagine.
did not have the tech. All right.
Yeah.
Dude, people swiped to get the best gear back then through RMT. People paid carry runs. People bought it. People cheated left and right. And you know why I know that? Because I was in the fucking guild that did that. And that was
Oh,
the
we
case
have
for
a
every
criminal
game.
over here. Fuck, you know.
I wasn't a
Bad
criminal.
boy.
I saw it happen, dude. I was just an innocent witness, bystander. Iron One, exact same thing. People did that shit from day one. And people are gonna be like, yeah, but dude, it's just the way it's set up. You can actually go in the shop and buy Kuna and buy money and people swipe like this. Brother, are you genuinely this fucking gullible that you think that the people swiping on Iron 2 right now are doing it through legal means?
It's much cheaper to do it illegally, yeah, especially through the bot
Everyone
farms.
fucking IMTs. It's the same shit as other games. Now, the only thing that can actually change is the way the game is set up. Is it set up to push you to buy, right? That is
Yeah.
the only thing that can change, right? And I can tell you that with the updates they've been doing, I genuinely have never felt pressure to swipe in this game. And I've
Oh,
been
same.
doing just fine, right? Now, that being said, obviously there are elements that are very clearly focused towards the paying users, and that is Horn Dragon Gear, right?
Yeah,
That
the
is
crafting.
undeniably mainly accessible to paying users. But at the end of the day, for PvE personally, and that's a me thing, that we're gonna go back to this being a me thing. I personally don't really give a shit if a random guy in Korea decides to spend a bit of money to clear a dungeon 30 seconds faster than me. That really doesn't impact my judgment on the game. And when it comes to PvP, I think I've said this earlier, but genuinely, I am more impacted by my ping and by class balance than I
Yeah.
am people swiping for Horn Dragon Gear. So I don't think it's as big of a problem as people make it to be. It exists, it is there. It was also there in Iron 1, right? Same thing. I would even argue it was worse in Iron 1 to some capacity, but
I
that's a
mean,
discussion for another day.
to be honest, because like
But
with Taiwan one, so like the way I keep saying this, the way the monetization here is set up, obviously you have the subscription, and they closed off the market so that bots that use the market they're forced to buy the subscription, so that at least they benefit from the botting as well. The devs, I mean, you have the obviously the Kinah exchange, but the main you have the battle pass and the skins, but that's like not even part of their main monetization. The main monetization is like like we sort of
it's
discussed a
the
bit
sub.
earlier. It's the sub is part of that, but it's the currency exchange into crafting as well. So I know they RMT illegally, right? But I guess the biggest funnel to Kinah is crafting, especially the Horn Dragon, right? So that's one of my wishful things was for global is either if you didn't have the currency exchange or if it was limited in some way. But like you say, like the majority of people just do it illegally anyway. So I don't think that wouldn't have like
Yeah, I
because
mean, it
because
wouldn't
like
change anything, yeah.
because people that are gonna willing to spend that much money, they're gonna spend it like elsewhere in the sense of like they're gonna just go to those websites and get it rather than feed it through the game.
I mean, bro,
Although
if
they're risking their
any
accounts.
of you in chat played Ion Classic, like, come on.
Hey, oh, thank you,
I knew people
Scythe.
who spent I knew people who spent like 5K a month on EU Classic in RMT and
Uh,
openly admitted to it. Like,
going
it's the same shit in every game. It is.
I mean, going back to Ion 1, for example, the things we don't have. So the things we don't have in Ion 1, in Ion 2 is like, for example, in the shop in Ion 1, when I was playing on NA, we had tempering solutions. And for those of you that haven't played the game, those were like special items. You would enchant your accessories that would give you PvP attack. And if it fails, it resets the whole enchant. So if you fail at +10, goes back to a 0. You had feathers you would enchant with those items that they can
I'm
break
gonna
and the
stop you
item would
for one
disappear.
second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just stop for 1 second. Squall, you want names? I can give you names. No problem. I can give you names. I genuinely do not have any. I genuinely do not have a coin in this fight. But if you played on EU Classic, you would know those people too. So what is the argument? It raised to 3% people? It doesn't. The majority of the endgame scene of AION 1 in EU Classic are on T.
1 second. They have an alert. Just for the people coming in, me and Matsin are doing a podcast regarding is AION 2 ready for global release? Because we can already see the pieces moving with news around new employments at NC America, like other interesting things that just came out. So we're trying to cover that and give our opinion because we've been playing the game since release and we have like a ton of experience with other NC games just to sort of try to puzzle the piece, like where the game is heading. Does it have a chance for global? And we're discussing, PvP, PV, pay to win elements, monetization, how bad it is, how bad it's not, things like that. So welcome in. Thank you for the raid, Society. And to be honest, like, they don't, because when they did I know they got attacked quite a lot when the game released and they were like, oh, we wouldn't have any pay to win stuff in the shop. And obviously they had this package which they removed later because people said it was pay to win. But like in the shop specifically, you don't have those type of items you cannot obtain in the game, right? So it's not the case of like, for me, the game is pay to progress, which is still pay to win. But then the other argument is MMOs for me, the whole point of playing it is the progression. It's the path going from point A to point B to point C as you move along. Right now, if you spend in AION 2, for example, and you dump all your money, whatnot, sure, you'll get the gear, you're going to clear dungeons, so on and so forth. But then the game feels meaningless because, well, nothing you do in the game would feel rewarding because you already got it. You already got your tiles, you already have your enchanted gear, you already have your PV gear, the crafted one, which is the best in slot in game right now. So it's like, what's the point, right? I'm not trying to sort of, how do I say, excuse it. I'm just saying it like it is. The other thing I like right now is that they went, the tiles, Ariel tiles were tradable, but the new tiles, Marchton and Ustio, are not tradable. So this is before you can spend to buy, those tiles that give you extra stats and extra gear score. But as the patches go along, you have to play the game to actually get those. Same with the pets, right? So it's unfortunate, but also another thing, what's funny? And this is, I can't understand. I want chat to help me out here. When AION 2 was being sort of teased around and people were like, oh, we want subscription, right? They made it essentially, this is effectively a sub-based game, right? Why are people complaining about the sub locking the market, for example?
Okay, if it's a sub. About the sub, I'm going to be honest, the people who complain about the sub blocking the market are just fucking stupid. That being said,
I'm just trying to understand. Don't shoot the messenger.
I'm not shooting the messenger that way. I'm just saying that if there's one thing I do want to see on global is I do think it's going to happen. I do want to see, if possible, the second sub get axed in general, because I don't think think people in the West are willing to accept paying more than $50 a month for an MMO, because it's the standard, right?
It is.
So I don't think the sub should. I don't think it should exceed $15. So that means axing the second one. I do think the sub should also be purchasable with Kinah. So this way, people who want to remain free to play can use the World Exchange to purchase it.
But you have to buy it first to get access to the market, right? So you have to buy it at least once.
Yeah, but I mean, you just get a purchase once, or maybe like, I don't know, you get some release package or whatever. You just buy it once and then you can just keep going. Basically the same as most free-to-play games, to be fair. Like it was the same with the gold pack and everything, right? That's the other thing. And the final thing that I would like to see for global is I would like for them to not release more than one Kinah Battle Pass per season.
Yeah.
Because 3 is a bit on the nose. It's a bit more manageable in Korea because the world exchange rate is much higher.
Okay.
But
speaking
now,
of
personally,
which,
I'm not even buying them.
So we have the NC America team is expanding, and long and behold, we have people from Amazon Games. And those of you that played Throne and Liberty, they know how much the pay to win the game was in Korea and how that softened, although it was still pay to win in some regard. For global, it was different. For example, we didn't have the sub on release, Throne and Liberty specifically. We didn't have you were able to buy the battle passes with what was it? The
Lucent.
No, not Lucent. The in-game currency. Fuck.
Solent.
Solon, thank you.
I
Right,
mean,
so they did.
ultimately, you're not really buying them with Soulmont. You were just like farming shit in game, then selling it with
Yeah.
the conversion stones to get Lucent and then buy them.
Oh yeah, it
But
was
yeah,
with
like
Lucent. Sorry.
Throne was very free to play friendly. Like it was
Um,
beyond belief.
so the thing is, why I'm sharing you with these guys is like they have the Marvin Lee, who is going to be leading the Western publishing operations for Ion 2. They were ex AGS employees, but it's not gonna be AGS who publishes the game in the West. It's gonna be NC America. Before it was NC West, which was a smaller studio, and then they expanded like a few years ago, and they have like JJ, who used to work for BDO, and now they even got Tico. If those of you that know Tico, like Tico Talks, he's going to be the director of product management. So seeing those people, how do you feel like seeing the old AGS gang into Ion 2? Because they have mixed feelings about this.
I mean, honestly, I'm pretty happy about it because ultimately, I do think AGS did a pretty decent job with Throne and Liberty. Now, they didn't do the best of jobs, but they did a decent job. And when it came to communication and relaying information to Korea, I think, and like, knowing what Tico did behind the scene and so on and so forth, I'm pretty happy to see him there because at least it means that as long as he does the stuff he was doing in Throne, that's good enough for me, right? So and also, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Tico was one of the guy who pushed for the way the monetization was handled in the West on Throne, which included removing the sub because the game had a sub in Korea.
Yeah,
It did not have a sub in the West until
it came later.
much
Yeah,
later.
and the benefits were
And
different.
yeah, and also like the way tradable versus non-tradable was handled, like in general, Throne and Liberty was what I think everyone wants a free to play game to be. And I know that a lot of people probably haven't played it or probably heard shit about it and didn't play it. And trust me, I'm the number one Throne and Liberty hater. I played it for way too much. The game in itself, I have a lot of problem with it. But when it came to the monetization, it is by far and wide the most free to play, casual player friendly monetization systems that I've seen. So if we get something even remotely
we
like that,
have we
I am
have a
too.
we have a counter argument in chat. Um, where was it? One sec. A lady Boydhouse says, "And why Throne Liberty died before Lost Ark?" For me personally, I just
Because
wanna.
it's a shit game. So I mean, sorry, but
So
nothing was gonna save it.
so the thing is, like for me, it's a sort of three things that ruined it. First of all, it lost its identity because it was supposed to be NCSoft's flagship large-scale PvP game. It didn't turn out to be like that. You only had one siege, right? And you had the Boonstone Restone, and that's it, really, and truly. And all the content that came after that was PV related and focused. Second of all, we did ever since the game came out in the West, and this is why I have mixed feelings about AGS. We didn't have a single week without bugs, or some kind of exploit that pretty much was game breaking, and it took them forever to fix that. It took them forever to ban and deal with cheaters and exploiters that climb the ranking, and So this is one of the things where I'm like, eh. Uh, so yeah,
Like
what's
Throne
your
and Liberty
thoughts?
as a game. I mean, okay, Throne and Liberty as a game, just to use a more like TL related analogy, was a castle built on sinking sand. It didn't matter how much they built upon it. The foundation was so bad and the code base was so botched that the game was never going to do well. It was riddled with bugs, with exploits. The balancing was a nightmare because of the dual weapon system. It had ideas, it executed okay on some aspects of it, but fundamentally the game fell short because no matter what they did, no matter what content they put into the game was so unstable that it never stuck the landing. Like, they had decent idea for PvE, but every single instance of a PvE dungeon they added into the game got exploited, right? They had some decent idea for GVG, but they only had one castle, and the best defense and attack methods for those castles were basically figured out 2 weeks into the game, right?
Uh,
Like,
Throne. 1 second. Throne and Liberty died because it was mainly PvP game, which is not that popular anymore for many MMO community. PvP is kind of niche for a group of players, and for casual PvP players, the game sucks at all with zero content. Not at all, Andrew. Actually, it was PvP focused game at the beginning, and then it became very PvE centric, so it kind of lost its identity. If you were a PvE player, there were quite a few things to do. You had the trials, you had the dungeons, you had the raids that they improved. After it, they implemented battlegrounds 2 years after the game released. So if it was a PvP focused game, why implement battlegrounds so later in the game? For example, on release, it didn't even have arenas in Korea. That was a much later thing as well. So
not that it was a good addition, but
yeah, because it was, again, it suffers the same fate as in AION 2. It's very meta prone. Also, Throne Liberty was a massive pain in the ass to balance out in the case, because you had so many weapon combos, but essentially it was like, let's say, 6 classes that were viable, and if you weren't playing those 6 classes or weapon combinations, you were pretty much griefing yourself, your gear, or your party. So it was
yeah, it led to a very toxic situation, which actually is going to leeway nice into a Iron 2 topic, which is because the Throne and Liberty as a game allowed you to switch weapon anytime you wanted on your character. You were not stuck to a specific class like you are on Ion. Anytime they fucked up something with the balance, it was expected of you to switch into the current meta class. So, like
and
the
their own
latest
gear
time
as
I
well.
played, yeah, like the latest time I played Throne and Liberty was when they released the orb,
Same.
and prior to when I quit, I came back to having I basically had a full outboss weapon like stacked up like a spear dagger and spear greatsword, right? I
Yeah.
came back, I'm fully decked out, right? I already had killed Calanthea and everything. I come back, no one's taking me into groups. I have the best fucking gear possible, no one's taking me. If you're not a crucifix, if you're not an old player, no one's taking you.
Yep.
Because of the way because the game allowed you to do that, and because the meta was so shaky and constantly like very lopsided with flavor of the month, that just kept happening. And the game basically went from one shitty meta to another, to another, to another. If you played at the very beginning, it was the Liberator meta. It was with like 6 bows in your groups, right? And if you played after that, it was a more melee meta. It was the spear meta with the spear daggers, just deleting clumps and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
And then we had the old meta, and today I believe we have a tank meta, right? The game cannot escape it because of the way it's balanced. And on the topic of class change, Iron 2, I know a lot of people are asking for class change into Iron 2, and what happened with Throne is one of the reasons why I think they need to be very careful when it comes to class change in Iron 2. Because if they make it too readily available, the same problem is going to apply, right? So maybe we'll come back on this topic later, but that is one of the reasons why when it comes to class change, I'm on the camp of the people who are actually against it. And if they actually want to implement it, I don't want them to implement it as something that is readily available. Like it has to be a rare event, in my opinion.
So, because the chat is talking about the game and release and changes and stuff like that. For me personally, the game, like if you look at Ion 2 right now compared to where it was on release, it's like looking like completely different games almost. Not only because of how classes function, the type of content we have, the progression is much smoother, and we had a bunch of quality of life improvements. Sadly, we still don't have the PC UI, which is, in my opinion, is like, hello guys, PC focused game, give us the PC UI first of all, yeah. And the other thing is, if you look at it, the game released in November, and now it's April, so that's like what, 6 months. And if we're correct in our speculations, because they said Q3 for 2026, that's still like 3, 4, 5 months away. So this is me speaking on copium, like some of the things that we are, dire of them fixing, hopefully some of them will be addressed by then. But like what I wanted to say, I lost my train of thought, damn it. Can you fill in please while I wanted to
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that you're full on coping. Like the modulable UI is the PC UI, brother. Like I think if there's any further UI changes coming, it's gonna be the same as Throne, where they just make gradual improvement. But I think
this is to be honest, this is what worried me the most, because like they have almost every week they have some fixes to the UI, like, oh, you can drag and drop. Oh, now you can move it around the screen. Oh, now you have custom markings or whatever, for example. And then one week they're gonna come back and say, oh, by the way, do you like your new PC UI? And I'm like, what? Oh, it's already in the game. You've been playing it for the last month. I'm like, oh,
I
fuck
think
off.
what's gonna happen is they're just gonna do like moderate updates on stuff that obviously needs to be added. Like, you know, for example, being able to click on the name in the chat to like bring a pop-up window, or being able to separate the alliance group window from the actual group window, or being able to see the icons of the class of your group members on the minimap instead of just a P that doesn't fucking matter, right? Like, I think these are gradually gonna be coming in, but I don't think
Yeah.
there's like a full-on UI overhaul that's gonna be coming. I don't think that's realistic.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, for me, like something that's very difficult right now is like tracking buffs and debuffs.
Yeah. They need to allow
Something
us to
related to
have
the
more.
icons. Because like even now,
Yeah.
I don't know about your class specifically, but like when you know when the skill is like 5 or 10 seconds before it's available again, you can hardly see if is it on cooldown, is it not? So you keep spamming it and like why is it not? Oh shit, it's still on cooldown. Then it's actually off cooldown. Then you can use it. It's like very difficult to track that. I hope they improve it. I don't know. It's a weird one, at least for me.
Cooldowns are fine by me, although I will say that I know for specific classes, some of the icons are like very close to the color of the cooldown
Yeah.
icon, because so I do like, for example, Warding Strike on Templar is one of them, right? So for that, obviously, some improvement would be nice. Maybe some customization on the color of the, you know, the thing that covers. But I guess for me, it's mostly I just want them to like again iterate on it. Like I want to be able to make the buff and debuff icon bigger, and I want to be able to see the full extent of my buffs and debuffs, because I mean you may have noticed, but it truncates after like I think 7 buffs or something, and then it just says +1, right? I would like to be able to see everything, but it's minor stuff like that, right?
Yeah. Like, so going back a bit to the publisher and stuff like that, we know it's going to be NC America, right? What would you like to do? Would you like it to be buy to play? I don't think it's going to be a different monetization model per se. I think they might have some small changes to make it more palatable, but I don't think they would go, for example, buy to play, right? Or sub only, right? It's going to be free to play, most likely.
Yeah.
But what do you think it's going to?
I mean, I think personally, what I think they're going to do, I think not much is going to change. Like, as I said, my expectation is that they're going to axe the second sub. They're going to make the sub purchasable with Kinah to,
Yeah.
again, allow free-to-play players to buy them. Maybe they're going to reduce the amount of battle passes. And I think that's it. I don't think they're going to change anything else. And nor do I think they need to be honest. Like, I'm mostly fine with the monetization other than the price of the sub. Like,
Yeah,
if I'm going to be honest.
it's way too much, especially that, like, let's be honest, guys, we're living in a day and age where it's like there's a ongoing cost of living crisis, and like I would hate to see gaming turning into like almost like an exclusive hobby rather than something you get people to play together and enjoy. Obviously, there isn't a free lunch, and there is a company that need to make money, but not at the expense of, like, you know, availability, if that makes sense. Because I hate that type of comment like, oh, if you're not happy with the monetization, just go get a job. Oh, that's the wrong way of looking at it, right? I don't know if there's going to be localized pricing. Most likely there will be. I do think they're going to ask the second sub. They're just going to combine it into one. Like, oh, you can play the game without the sub, but
They're not going to combine it. Do you
what?
know why they're not going to combine it?
Why?
It's because if they combine it, Koreans and Taiwanese are going to bitch that the foreigners are getting the same shit for less. And then they would have to also combine it in Korea. Now, that is possible, by the way. Maybe they will combine it like across the globe. That is possible. But I think I mean, again, you played Throne, right? I think
Yeah.
they're just going to do the same thing with Throne. They're going to axe the bad sub, which is the extra chest sub. Because the sub that was on Throne did the same thing as the second sub on 9 too, which is give you extra chests on battlegrounds and stuff like
Essentially,
that, right?
what they're gonna do is like they're gonna, oh, if you want access to the market and stuff like that, yeah, just buy this sub, and then everything else is by default in the game. Like, or you still get to open double chests and stuff like
No,
that, or
I think it's just outright going to get removed from the game. I think the second sub just isn't going to exist the same way the sub did not exist on Throne at all. I think that's what they're gonna do, and maybe they will introduce it later, depending on how the game does, right? But I think it's just going to get like outright removed personally.
I see. Can, speaking of pay to win and progression and monetization, because everyone wants to know, like, whenever someone talks about pay to win and monetization, the obvious question why they care is, can they play the game or even be on a competitive level without spending or swiping? What's your opinion in its current state?
Am I allowed to be a little mean?
Yeah, sure.
Like, is that okay? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that the answer is, as a sub-only player, are you able to be competitive in both PvE and PvP? Yes, absolutely. I would even argue say that if you only care about PvE, you don't even need to pay for the sub. Like, there are legitimately people out there that do not pay for the sub and have cleared the latest 8-mine raid before somewhere, right? These people are out there, they exist. It is possible.
Gamers.
PvE progression inherently is not very hard to keep up on if it's the only thing you keep up with, especially with the integration of all of the old subsystems with the bound Balic mats and so on and so forth, especially now with the addition of upcrafting, with the addition of the guaranteed crafts, so on and so forth, right? So
Yeah.
ultimately, if your focus is PvE, like, you're good. Like, the main thing comes if you're focusing for PvP, because if you focus for PvP, you also have to focus for PvE, right? So you have to be
Yeah.
competitive in both, essentially.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna be honest, I do think that as long as you have the correct expectations, which is that you're able to do the latest PvE content when it comes out, and you're able to do the PvP in a reasonable amount, in the sense that you're able to progress on your gear without any handicaps, you're able to participate to all the PvP content, you're able to do all of your BGs, you're able to do all of your weeklies and seasonals, you're gonna be able to do that just fine without the sub. And I do personally believe that the majority of players who are putting a crutch on the whole pay to win thing are not even God, that's gonna sound so bad. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you're probably not even good enough to compete, even if there was no pay to win anyways. So you should genuinely stop giving a shit and just focus on having fun with the game. Because I can tell you that someone that has the motivation and that is good at the game will be able to compete with the whales, with or without pay to win. That's my personal opinion. Now, obviously, swiping does give you an advantage, but ultimately, for 99% of the players, this shit doesn't matter,
Like,
and you need to stop worrying about it and just focus on having fun with the game. That's my take.
The thing I have sort of to chip in here is like again, maybe I'm bitching or whining, but like for example, because I saw on Squall stream last time, he was sort of saying like as a PvP only player who wants to do only PvP, let's say in ION 2, which is kind of like it's a PvE game and you only want to focus on PvP. It's kind of like there's better games for that. But like one thing he pointed out, which I think was correct to point out, is like the amount of extra shit you have to do before you enter PvP in a way that's like reasonable. You know, you have to have your PvP Tau swords, you have to have all the Marchton and all the Ustio, not Ustio, but not all of them, but at least the gold parts that gives you like attack increase, endurance, penetration, stun resist, stun effect chance, evasion, block. Then you have the PvP Taus, then you have the PvP, you have to have the specific rolls on your gear, which takes a lot of like gold items or the soap items, reroll thingies I forgot the name of. And then you have the mana stones, the enchantments, you have to be breakthrough. That's a big Kinah sink, right? It's a lot if you want to reach a level in PvP where you can actually, you know, if you want to farm bots and people around your level, it's fine because I do that on my chanter anyway. But like to actually enter the PvP scene where you can actually compete for ranking and stuff, I think this is the biggest, like, oh, you actually have to play the game a lot. And this is where if you really want to keep up, you can do it. You can be slightly behind, but I don't know. How do you feel about this? If from the point of view like you're a PvP player, because like obviously focus only on PvE, it's easier to sort of churn through the content, get the materials, sort out your, because once you get your PvE gear, it's there, right? But with PvP gear, you have different tiers, and the higher tier it gives you better bonuses, set effects, and now you have an extendable weapon that's a PvP as well, heroic one. So yeah, how do you feel that? How easy it is for a PvPV player to be competitive without swiping?
I don't inherently disagree with the sentiment. With that said, again, it's all about expectations. Because if you look at, let's say, Ion 1, Ion 1 was the same shit. If you're starting fresh on an ongoing server on Ion 1, you're basically looking to get fucked in the ass for the next month and a half to 2 months until you have the gear to actually do something, right? That's
Yeah.
just a fact. Like, I've done it multiple times. You probably have as well. Multiple people in the chat probably have as well. Like, unless you buy an account or swipe insane amounts, you're gonna be behind, right? So that's the first part. The second part is it's all about expectations, because If you just want to be able to keep up, do a moderate amount of PvP, maybe do some group PvP, maybe do some battlegrounds, realistically, all you need is a Decanus plus 17 plus 18 set with like moderately decent soulbinds and pets, right? And you can achieve that fairly fast because going into the game, you can like a full set of Decanus gear is 750 KP. You can get that in like a week, even if you're like starting out. If you don't have like a completely dogshit matchup in the Abyss, you can do your corridors, you can do your weeklies, you can do some Abyss monster farming, maybe you do some group PvP with friends, and you'll be able to get that within a week, right? And then the breakthrough, going from a piece of gear from plus 10 to breakthrough 2, which is plus 17, costs about 10 to 15 million Kinah, which is nothing in the current economy. Because if you run one dungeon, you're getting 1.4 million Kinah. So you run 10 dungeons, and you can enhance one piece of gear to breakthrough 2, which means that within 2 weeks, you have enough Kinah to break through a full set of PvP gear, right? And then you can probably just carry over your weapon and your guard from PvE to PvP anyways, right? And then you're going to be in a decent state, right? I'm not saying you're going to be able to queue arena and be challenger. I'm just saying that you're going to be able to go in the Abyss. You're going to be able to kill a couple of people. You're going to be able to farm bots. You're going to be able to do all of your PvP weeklies. You're going to be able to grind to officer to start buying your medals. That is possible, right? Like it is possible. So again, it's specifically about expectations. Yeah.
Currently I'm on Shugo GG. I'm checking the leaderboards. We have a cleric called Kios. Like I don't know how accurate this is. He's a supreme commander right now, and his combat power is 109,000. Like, what the actual fuck? What is that?
Yeah, I mean, the thing with a lot of the top leaderboards, especially on Taiwan, that you have to consider is that a lot of those people, when it comes, especially to the Abyss ranking, a lot of those people are win trading for ranking. So you kind of can't even look at that, to be honest. So
okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
we saw that. So you have to have realistic expectations, right?
It's all about, at the end of the day, again, especially with a game like this, is you're looking at a free-to-play MMO that's coming from Korea, right? You have to have certain expectations going in. You know, like
Grind
you can't really go into those types of games and be like, what? The game isn't actually completely free? I'm flabbergasted. Like, bro, like, what were you expecting? Like, what are we doing here?
To be honest, if you're an MMO player, for the most part, you either play like you have on the West, we have World of Warcraft, right? Then you have again Eastern MMO, Final Fantasy. Then you have Black Desert, Eastern MMO. You have AION, Eastern MMO. You had the New World, which was a Western one, but it's closed down. Guild Wars, still depending who you ask, managed by a Western company, but initially developed by an Eastern one. Then it was like Throne and Liberty, Eastern MMO. Chron Odyssey, Eastern MMO. Arcade Chronicles, Eastern MMO. Like it's the East that continues to churn out MMOs, right? Yeah. So it's kind of like
the West is completely incapable of making them, and also like when they try to actually fit the expectations of the Western players, they can't, and the game just fails because it's impossible. Like I don't know.
I mean, the thing is, right? Because the unfortunate thing about, and it's quite clear when you compare like the game design like 10, 15 years ago compared to the game design nowadays is, for the most part, I feel like ever since games became a profitable business, decisions are obviously made by the wishes of the stakeholders rather than the actual game devs, in the sense of like, we have an idea for a game. They obviously, they pitch it, they get funding and stuff, but they have to make the shareholders happy because they've invested money in that game, right? And then they have ideas of how can we extract the most money out of this game. The unfortunate thing about MMOs is people are aware that they have a very low lifespan, the newer one, because they're very active for the first few months and there's a normal drop off. And then obviously to recoup those losses, they add more pay to win mechanics. I want to find... there was an interesting video from The Wizard. It was a video from a stakeholder call, and it was basically them revealing the monetization plans for global as well, in the sense of like, so two things that made sort of an impression on me on that coin. I'm going to play it for you guys so that you see where we're coming from. One, they said, and again, they can say anything they want in front of their shareholders, right? The whole point is making them happy, right? So I'm not trusting them in face value. I'm just, this is what they're saying. Whether they stick to their words, it's a whole different topic. But what they want to say is they want to use AION 2 as a vehicle to promote other games that are going to be released from NCSoft in the West in the next few years, in the sense of like, we want this game to succeed, so we get credibility back into our company, so when we release the next 2 games, they're also successful. And they even gave like an example of like, gosh, what was that K-drama? Fuck. Squid Game, not K-drama, sorry. Squid Game, where the success of this Korean, series brought interest to other Korean products on the entertainment industry as well. So again, and the plan for monetization is what they specifically said was they aim at player retention. That's why they want to keep the monetization tamer. So whether it's tame or not, it's up for you to decide, guys. And then obviously they said that eventually when there is a player drop off because they realized they cannot have like high player count for that much longer, then that is when they're actually going to think about maybe changing the monetization. One sec. Where was it? Stakeholder review.
I mean, ultimately, I remember this video. I can tell you, right? It's
Yeah. Do you have the link?
I can tell you, if you ever watched any shareholder like a roundtable on any game, on any product, it's always the same thing. Like, the devs are just trying to make a video game, and they need the fundings, and they just throw buzzwords like mobile, Squid Game, Fortnite, like they throw the buzzwords to get the money, right? But ultimately, most of what the shit they say is just a smokescreen. And look, I'm gonna be honest, I genuinely think MMO players need to stop role-playing shareholders. They need to stop role-playing developers, because you're neither of these. Just have fun with the game while it's around, and if it has to go at some point, it's gonna go. It's gonna be all right. You're gonna be fine. Like, it's not that deep.
What was
you don't
that
have to look
fucking
at
video,
shareholders
dude?
meetings and be like, ooh, but they say this. Like,
no, where was it? Ah, kurva. I just want to play it.
I mean, it was before the release, right? So it was like 4 months ago.
Yeah. Oh, that's 1 year ago. Oh, speaking of MMOs, do you feel AION 2 is an MMO in its true sense?
Is that a real question?
Yeah.
Like, of course it's an MMO. What else it is? A fucking pair of Adidas shoes? Like, what do you mean? But yeah, it's an MMO, dude.
I mean, to be honest, like for me, it tries to be an MMO, because, and you're probably gonna hate me for this, but for the most part, and this is a probably very biased take, like for example, you don't really have community activities in the sense of like you auto queue for dungeons. Yeah, you can queue with your friends and stuff, but essentially you open dungeon, you queue, and you go into that, right? You don't have that element of AION 1.
I'm just gonna stop you here. I know exactly what you're gonna say, and I don't disagree. Okay. It's a modern MMO, and modern MMO, that's what they do. If you play 14 is like that. If you play WoW is like that. Modern MMO and games that try to modernize themselves, this is just the standard they operate with. If anything, the existence of stuff like the Abyss and Siege is honestly more social interaction than I've seen in a modern MMO in a while. And I will say that Throne and Liberty specifically was a bit of an odd case when it came to social interaction, maybe to a fault at some point, and that's probably one of the reasons why the game failed, actually. I don't necessarily disagree, and I would like to see more. I would like especially to see a more alive open world, but that's just the standard of MMOs.
I can't find the chat.
It's just convenience.
Oh, thank you.
It's convenience before like vibes, basically.
Because the other thing is we don't really have lore. We don't really have lore in AION. You have the lore that goes from WoW leveling, but then every season it's like, here's the new set of dungeons, go and fucking do them. Why you're doing them, I mean, apart from the obvious reason to get gear and shit like that, there's no real explanation. Because like in AION 1, for example, the whole patch was leading all the way till the Beritra raid or Infinity Shard or the other dungeons, right?
Absolutely. So you had... And have you seen the interview that came out? I think it was yesterday.
It was the 600 roundtable. I read the Russian sort of TLDR. It was on a Russian website. Well, can you tell me something about it?
They did mention in one of that is one of the questions that was asked by a player, and they did say that obviously the content we have right now, like basically, dude, everything we've had until now was content that was ready before they even released the game, right? So what's here is here, but they said that in the future, for content in development, they're going to do a better job integrating it into the game's lore. So at least
Fingers
there's that.
crossed for next patch. Next patch.
Yeah.
Wait, so let's see.
To talk about high-level information of our monetization schemes. And then when we are discussing more details regarding the launch timing, we'll be able to share more information over this aspect. But I want to emphasize today that AION 2 is more focused on PvE and dungeon content, and that is
Even they said it's more focused on PvE and dungeon content rather than PvP.
different from the PvP-focused lineage-like
Yeah, because
games.
it's more popular
And also,
with the general populace,
we're
right?
fully aware that many users are concerned about our business model, but I want to reiterate that there will be no gachas. And in August, in our live stream in August, we mentioned about the battle pass, customization, and skins, and these will be our priorities. And although there could be some elements of P2W content and monetization.
I like I like how instead of saying pay to win, she's like, they just call it pay to W, pay to the. I mean, we know what it means, but like they don't want to say it. They don't want to say it, chat. They don't want to say it.
Game involved in AION 2. And for your second question, I think that's the most important question, which was about the relationship between user experience and profitability. And for this question, I think I want to emphasize the profitability graph. So far, we've focused on heavy business models, which means that we see very high sales and revenue and user indicators at the beginning of the launch, and then we couldn't make the retention rates go further in the long-term perspective. But as we discussed with our development team and business team, we want to have a business model that can extend our PLC and extend our user base for the long-term perspective. So all in all, when we have a lot of user base in the game, we think that even with the lighter BM, the sales will increase. But if we don't have enough user base, that would also disrupt our sales. So we have to consider all of these factors together. So at the end of the day, we want to emphasize that we will avoid the profitability graph that will show the highest retention rate, and then highest indicators, and then we can't move on to the retention rates going forward. So we will have the opposite approach.
You are suggesting.
So yeah, this is one of the things we just said earlier, right? Like at some point there is a drop off, and when that happens, is to recoup the losses. What is it? They would have to change the monetization strategy. But yeah.
But that's true of any game, so...
Yeah. No. I mean, yeah, of course. I didn't even mention it as a surprise. It's more of like, it's an actual thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What are some of the things you're looking the most forward to?
Well, the patch on the 22nd for one. Like, Jesus Christ, man. It's like they have mentioned that they made this whole like balance team task force, to really focus on the balance of the game, and the 22nd is going to be the first display of that. So I am looking forward to that. Other than that, really, I just want the dust to settle, because again, it's pretty obvious that we are going through a lot of the content that they had already prepped up in advance before the game came out. I do want to see how they handle the game once they are actively developing content at the same time as managing the game.
Yeah.
And what rate of content they're going to do. I do want to see, because that's another thing that was mentioned in the cafe interview yesterday.
Where can we find it, Kegi? Can you send it? Is it on your Discord, guys? One sec. Oh wait.
Yeah, I don't want to see how they're going to manage the actual game progression once they reach the point that they have said that when they're actually going to stabilize the acquisition of gear and so on eventually. Because right now, gear acquisition is going a bit too fast, in my opinion. Like, we are 4 months into the game. We are already going into the third sanctuary, which is probably going to give like bracelet and weapons again, in a world where a lot of the players still haven't even obtained their weapons. right?
Yeah. Even Corrode,
So,
we haven't cleared.
like even Ludra, dude, like the majority of the player base still haven't seen a Ludra weapon, and we're already going into the third one. So I do hope they're going to like strike a better balance with this, because like being constantly on the treadmill is like going to be exhausting for a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of people are already feeling the burn. But other than that, really, like, I mean, I'm not really impatient. Like, I know a lot of people are like really want global to come out and everything. I just want them to take that time. I'm happy with
Same.
the current pace of the game. I'm happy with how they've been handling player feedback and integrating into the game, even though they have had some knee-jerk reactions. And yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to the game in general, if that makes sense, right?
Is it community news? 1 second. That's one of the things when someone comes and say, I'm impatient, when is it gonna release? And I'm like, I would much rather them take extra months to ensure the game would survive longer than a year, for example, rather than them rushing it because we want the fix for a month and then we go to the next MMO. Because that's the other thing, like, because like I feel like Ion 2 might not be it's gonna be a great like seasonal game, like someone in chat said a while ago. Right, it might not be the main game for everyone, but it's gonna be an amazing like seasonal game, especially the amount of content they churn out. Obviously, they can't keep up with that tempo, but wait, oh my god, where is it, dudes? Oh my god, am I having a senior citizen moment? What is going on? Patch notes, 2's, server, brother.
Like,
Huh? No, I remember seeing it. Forum. 1 sec. Kurwa. Wait, I'll just share. Where is it, dude?
but I do remember the broad topics, like if you just want to go over them. But
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it was mostly stuff that people are waiting for. It's like server transfer. Like they have mentioned that server transfer is taking longer than expected because basically the way they have to do server transfer in this game,
Oh,
they
yeah.
can't really make
I
you transfer
remember.
one character. They have to make you transfer the entire
All
account,
of your,
right?
yeah. All
Or
of your
the entire
characters.
server, rather, because
Yeah.
everything is server bound, right? And also they have mentioned that server transfer would not only be from server to server, it would also be cross faction. So that is another thing that is adding time to the development time, right? So
Yeah.
probably not gonna see that at least until like late season 3, season 4, right? And then the class change, they have said that it's basically ready, but they are still deciding on the details on how to implement it. And then it's the typical stuff, like people complaining about, you know, the boss kill count stuff, and they're saying that they already have boss kill count tickets, but they basically don't want to implement it into the game because they want the economy to settle a bit more because they consider that people have too much Kinah, which I don't know about that, but that is basically their answer. And
this is the funny part because of the currency exchange or the RMT or both, whatever, like a few weeks into the game, they did one of the emergency streams and they were like, we didn't realize you guys are going to consume content so fucking quick. And I'm like, what did you fucking think with the currency exchange and people being able to craft, you know, and buy materials?
they shut themselves. I can tell you 100%, they fucking regret the way they did season 1 because they shot themselves in the foot by adding stuff like Horn Dragon gear on the game from day 1.
Yeah.
Because we, to this day, still don't have a single piece of content where Horn Dragon gear isn't complete overkill.
Yeah.
So,
do you think they might
also causing problem in PvP? So.
Do you think they might add that Horn Dragon weapon maybe in season 3 for global, or like not at the beginning?
I think they're going to take the season 2 approach with the season 1 in global, which is, you know, gradual content release, and they're probably going to handle crafted gear differently. Like, because they surely regret it.
What do you think are some of the changes they could make to crafting, if any? Because now one of the changes, because there's some of the things I really like we have recently is the availability to upgrade tiers. So you go from tier 1 into tier 2 without losing enchants and Soulbinds up until the heroic. With that, obviously, it has to be the same tier. So unique to unique, you cannot do it unique to heroic. And then the fact that a few times per season you have a guaranteed craft of, unfortunately, not on horned great gear, but on the other unique gear. So that's a great change. However, what are some of your suggestions?
I do think that they did a great job with crafted gear as of late, because we also have the bound mats on ults. So even if you're like a free-to-play player or just a sub-only player, you are able to make crafted gear really reliably without breaking, with the exception of Horn Dragon, which, as I just said, Horn Dragon is completely fucking overkill. You don't need it anyways. So I think they did a great job with that. The main thing, obviously, is Horn Dragon gear needs to be better integrated into the game, because right now it's mostly a whale-only thing. So either they need to let us also upcraft into it, or they need to add 100% guaranteed craft. That being said, I don't think they will. I think they're going to wait for the Emperor Dragon gear to come out before they do that with the Horn Dragon gear, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Again, you don't need it, really. It's just, it's whale bait. That's what it is, right? And for the rest, it's more minute stuff that I would like changed in crafting, which is I would like bulk consumable crafting, because right now it takes 5 business days to craft 100 potions, and then you go through them within half an hour. So yeah, we need to be able to make more consumables faster. And I also want them to make it's somewhat related to crafting, but I want them to integrate the farming process of consumable mats into our day-to-day content better. Because right now the thing is, if you want to craft a scroll, you need ores, you need the basic scrolls, you need Esvada paper, you need all of that, right? You're never gonna farm this shit by yourself. So basically right now, what's happening is the bots are farming it and you're buying it from the bots, which is, it's creating problem, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in AION 1, it was integrated into the day-to-day content, because you just farm ether for an hour, right? And then you had enough ether to morph into fresh and pure stuff for the rest of the week, that you then disassembled and then crafted, right? So you basically farmed ether for 1 hour, and then you crafted for maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and you had enough consumables for the rest of the week, right? And I would like for them to do something with that, with consumables on 9 too, right? Because right now, I think most people are just working off the NPC consumables, because they cannot be fucked to touch the crafting system with the consumables.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, like, it unfortunately, that kills another game mode where normal players don't go around the map gathering their own materials, right? Because, like, for example, like, it would take you hours and hours and hours just to collect enough for a reasonable amount of consumables or for your other crafting needs, right? So what you would rather do, spend $1 million or something to get it off the market, because like $1 million is like what, 1 dungeon run worth of Kinah, right? And it saves you so much time. So I don't know. You're right in that regard. Then it needs to happen, something like a change, or maybe just increase the how many you can get from a single node, because right now it's almost impossible.
Ultimately, I'm gonna be honest, the way gathering is handled in this game is like very archaic. Like it's old school MMO. It doesn't work because, bro, every single node all across the map is getting assaulted by 50 bots. This shit doesn't work. Like, maybe that's a bit too drastic of a wish, but I think they should just remove gathering from the game entirely and just put Odil bundles as rewards into for doing content. You know what I mean?
Oh, like, yeah, this is literally exactly Jose 7952 says. I wish they make Odile part of the dungeon cube loot instead of having 12 nodes that some people miss out on because someone presses challenge again. But then, you know what, Jose? You can just not press, you cannot accept, you shouldn't accept until you get your loot, like the nodes, and then you press again, then you can challenge, you know? Because when they challenge again, there's a... But yeah, I agree with you. I would love to see that change.
I would even go like one step further, right? Like, because you know how, dude, the majority of people get their rage and Odil from doing fucking Shugo games. Ain't nobody's gathering that shit, right? I think you should be getting like 200, or like maybe not 200, but like 150 like white Odils for running dungeon, right? Like, you should just be getting large amount of Odils from running content, from a variety of content, and then you move that into the mats, and then that's your crafting.
Okay, I have one super random idea. I just had it. I'm a fucking genius, or maybe I'm a fucking retard, but I'm going to share with you. Regarding the games, because obviously people prefer the show game because it's the easiest to cheese and get items. What if, whenever they have the show games mode, available, what if it's like you click, but you don't know what game it is? so you have to participate anyway if you want the rewards. Like, because they have the list of games. You have the the shooter, the jumping game, the tiles, the race, whatever, right? You just see the Shugo icon, you press it, and you get teleported to one of the game modes randomly.
I don't disagree with that, but I'm gonna go one step further. I think Shugo game should not fucking be a main content in the game to begin with. Like, why are we forced to do that for like important mats? That's my question to you.
It should.
I think
It was intended. It was intended as optional, but because of the availability, the scarcity of certain materials, or like how they've could
Bro, it was never
it
intended
became
to be optional because, bro, at the beginning of the game, it was the only way to get soul codexes.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think Shugo games should not be anything more than something like Gold Sosa from Final Fantasy, right? It should be a separate game mode that you choose to opt into that gives you a currency to get like skins and mounts and shit like that. It should not be more than that. Like, the fact that every single time I see that dumb fuck Shugo head pop next to my minimap, I want to genuinely shank myself.
Do you know how many runs it failed because of someone's it's Shugo Tao's game, let's regroup later, and then I have to take a break and stuff, and let's just fucking farm, we have a nice group.
I haven't done a Shugo game in like 2.5 months because every time the thing pops up, I'm doing something else and I'm not stopping what I'm doing to go do it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it needs to be optional, straight up.
Let me see if we missed something, because we covered quite a lot. Oh, one of the things is like, does
I know about it.
the another thing that's a question. I mean, I think we sort of covered it, but I have to ask it point blank. Does AION 2 respect your time? Dead silence. Dead silence.
I mean, it should. Okay, here's the thing, right? It depends on the way you're looking at it, because my definition of respecting my time might be different from someone else. Because someone might say, "Oh, it respects my time because I only have to play 30 minutes a week, and then I'm done." I consider that to be a fucking offense, if anything, and that's precisely the reason why I quit Final Fantasy 14, because you get 1 hour of content per week, and you get a content drop every 9 months, right?
Yeah.
Like, I much prefer an MMO where I can just log in and do shit without being on a timer and do whatever the fuck I want, get the amount of progress I want to get done, and then log off when I want to log off, right? That's my personal approach to MMOs. And AION 2 allows me to do that, right? Especially because there's virtually no dailies in the game. It's all weekly. So I can decide to burn everything in one go. Like, within 3-4 hours, I'm just like, I'm through my dungeons and everything, and then I can go have fun with PvP. Or I can decide to go play an old and do more dungeons, right?
Yeah.
Whereas on a game like Throne and Liberty, where you had 3 daily dungeons, and then you were basically spending the rest of your day just holding your limp dick, waiting for an event to happen to have fun for 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I don't really consider that
ironically
to be respecting my time.
The thing is, the trials were supposed to be the content where you farm in between those low periods, right? But the thing is, they added runes to every content.
Yeah, I mean,
and people were like struggling with the trials, and they were getting kicked because of the toxic community, or because they didn't care about ranking, because, well, people were just using exploits to climb the rankings anyway. So that was a dead mode as well. And this is something that sort of we said earlier, is like, regarding pet leveling, they were supposed to be one of the main open world activities, right? But now that they added the daily pet dungeon, they added soul crystals to weeklies and dailies and stuff like that. Like, it sort of killed that open world farm for pets, because no one really wants to go through that. Do you think they can replace it with something, or what can they do to, again, I know we're going a bit back in circle around that incentivizing open world, but like, what can they do to make the world feel alive, making people roam around, apart from drifting, because we covered drifting, but something as an open world activity? What do you think they should do?
I mean, there's multiple things, really. Like, first of all, like, sealed dungeons and strongholds are basically completely abandoned as soon as you're done with them. Like, it would be pretty easy to use them for either events or weeklies, where you have to, like, I don't know, 5 times a week, you have to complete a scaled up version with a juiced solo boss in a sealed dungeons, right? Like, and then within the open world itself, the problem is that you have world bosses on the map, but 99% of the player base doesn't give a shit about it. Like, it's basically just like,
that
typically
content.
Every server has like 3 dickheads that just is on a rotation to farm these bosses to get the skins, and it's dead content for the rest of the server, right?
Commands cross for rifts. Ooh.
Yeah, like
Very good.
make them active time events. You can also have stuff like, I mean, if you play Throne, like in Nebula
Yeah,
Island, you
yeah, yeah,
have
yeah, 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 yeah.
the frenzy time, right? Where like there's extra mobs that drop a lot of shit that spawns all around the map at specific time of days at random, and then it switch areas and so on and so forth. Like there's a bunch they can do, and
Imagine you can
ultimately
farm
it's
philosopher stones like that or some shit
yeah,
like
like
this.
it's their prerogative. Like they have the wanted loot and they have the means to do so. It's also a question is do they want to do that, and do they want to do that for more than rifting? That remains to be seen. I do believe personally that they can give us a lot more by farming mobs, but they need to make all of the loot untradeable and the Kinah bound from farming mobs, both in the Abyss and the regular world.
Yeah.
Because it's clear they're just losing the fight against the bots. So just fucking move on, dude. Just put the fries in the bag, just make that shit bound and let us farm if we want to, right?
Bound Kinah topic,
And
because
then
that was a big change in season 3, right? Like tier 1, tier 2 have Bound Kinah, tier 3 had like half. How bad is it the situation for free to players, you think? Because I've personally I find it like there's so many ways to make Kinah outside of just the dungeon, and by so many maybe not that many, but like for example the Solicium, what's it called, that thing you sell for NPCs? It's Bound Kinah, but you can trade to your main. Yeah, the enchantment stones you can morph into amplification stones, which you can then use on your main. The Bound
I mean,
Kinah you can still use for enchanting to enchant the gear on your main, which is a massive cost, scene cost. So like the only, I would say the only issue becomes if you're like saving for, let's say, I don't know, horn dragon weapon, or you want to really buy that shit, or materials, I guess, with Raw Kinah. But apart from that, I don't see it as a, because tier 1, tier 2, like
I don't
most
think
people
Bound Kinah
farm
is a
tier.
problem.
Yeah, because most, if honestly, like now you need 1 or 2 moderately geared outs to do like tier 3, tier 4 dungeons to make Kinah and everything, because they sort of killed the need for outing, right? Apart from, if you really want to try hard, you would make like a bunch of outs at the beginning of the game where you do your duties for the soul crystals, so you level up your pets much quicker. Because I mean, daily dungeons are now shared across the account, but you can use the dailies for the extra shards if you really want to try hard that much. Other than that, not really, apart from 1 or 2 outs, which again, people didn't, because every time I would have people in my chat coming and say, oh, this looks like Lost Ark because you need outs to progress, and people don't want to play out simply because, well, it's a chore, right? So, but I have a different view on this topic, and I don't want to get into that because, yeah, but okay, we covered this.
I don't think ults are dead, by the way. Like you still need to run about 2 ults right now
Yeah,
to
no, that's
reach
what I
your
said. Yeah,
diminishing return.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
to
like
be honest,
you're getting kickstart into 3K combat power, not combat power, eye level anyways with the catch up mechanics. So you're already
yeah.
reaching the Kinah that don't have Bound Kinah, the dungeon that don't have Bound Kinah. So
No, that's
yeah,
the thing.
Bound
Like,
Kinah doesn't matter.
especially with the new change, like they gave us so many runs on our mains as well. It feels great because I feel like I'm playing more my main character, which I want to do anyway, to progress. Thank you for the follow, by the way. So yeah, for me that was a good change. I know a lot of people like, because on the outside it seems shit, because like people, what people saw on Reddit and some videos that were covering this were like, oh, that game because they made the free-to-play progression hard. I'm like, no, they actually give you more shit on your main, and you can still play your outs. But if you want to play 7 characters, you can't really do it, because it's like what was the correct term? Fuck, what was the correct term? Oh my days, help me out, brother.
What are you trying to express?
Diminishing returns. It has diminishing returns.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
I mean, look, I'm gonna be, dude. First of all, just to go back on the Bound Kinah topic and the whole like respect your time stuff. First of all, bro, you're playing an MMO. You're playing a Korean MMO. Expectations, all right? Have the correct expectations. Oh, I want the game to respect my time. You're playing a Korean MMO. The game doesn't have to change around you. It's a fucking Korean MMO. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, Bound Kinah genuinely doesn't matter. It genuinely doesn't matter because, as you said, you have like 50 million different like outputs for Kinah that doesn't rely on the trade post, right? And the thing is, I'm gonna be honest, if you're a player that gives a shit about Bound Kinah and is running ults, you are not concerned by the whole crafting Horn Dragon gear to begin with. So you're probably not buying excessive amounts of mats on the auction house. Because if you were, you probably would be wailing anyways. And if you are not whaling, you're just using your bound Balic mats anyways. So you're not exactly buying much. I don't know about other people. Maybe that's just me, right? I barely use the trading post. I barely use it.
Can you correct me if I'm wrong? Because I have this sort of thing. So the way you can look at this is, say I want to save money for Horn Dragon or the materials to buy and craft crafted gear, right? Can you do that either on the outs that have some tradable Kinah because they're doing the higher tier dungeons, and my main, and use the bound Kinah I'm getting through playing other types of content to pretty much enchant my gear, because you can actually use that. And because bound Kinah gets used first, I can do that on my main, then I move that part to my shared warehouse, I got it on my out, use the bound Kinah on there, enchant it, move forward, because again, enchanting and start rolling is a big Kinah sink. So again, I don't think the impact is as big as people like imagine it to be, unless, you know, so that's just my 2 cents.
Like purely for QOL, I think they need to make the bound Kinah trade like exchangeable on the world warehouse. I don't really see a reason why it's not the case already, because really the only downside is it's the inconvenience of, I have to move my piece of gear to enhance it, right? But beyond that, like, it kind of doesn't really matter.
Because again, I would make the bound Kinah transferable between characters. But then again, this is one of the reasons why they didn't want to have people play outs, right? But then there's still benefits. So it's kind of like, it's a nice idea, but the execution is kind of questionable. No, because technically it can still benefit, but it's like
they didn't add it to like reduce old play. They added it to
botting mainly
integration for RT.
Yeah. But also to help with botting, because people are farming dungeons for Kinah.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, I think we covered pretty much everything. Chat, Q&A, quickly. If you have any questions, anything else you would like to discuss or ask us, now is the time. If not, we're gonna move to a blitz round and we're gonna end the podcast, because it's I think servers will be up soonish in like half an hour, and I don't want to take too much of your time. So any questions, chat? Now is the time to, and if not, we'll move on.
A dead silence.
It's like, no, guys, you are very excessive in your information. I've never seen so much knowledge in one place. I'm joking.
Right.
I'm joking.
That's definitely it.
Okay, so Cosmo MV asks, I haven't played AION 2 for a while. Do we have a DPS meter in game yet? Yes, we do. Come on, next question. Blitz questions, guys. Come on, ask. Now's the time. Anything you want to ask.
Like,
come on. You talk about mobile version AION 2 for global, the reason why it shouldn't release. Oh, good question.
I think they need to axe that shit, bro. Like, it's pretty obvious they just threw in there, like, you know how we were talking earlier about the whole shareholder meetings and everything? It's pretty obvious they just threw in there to please the shareholders. They don't actually give a shit about it. They haven't been updating it, and the game is fucking unplayable. Like, it's just giving an easy outlet for like bot farms, basically. So they need to remove that shit.
They also like shot themselves in the foot, because the moment you mention a PC mobile MMO in the West, it's almost like any Korean. So you have NCSoft, Korean MMO, it's PC mobile. That's three reasons for a complete disaster, right?
I mean, it's a good litmus test, though. Like, the moment you see someone say that AION 2 is a mobile game, you know that motherfucker doesn't know anything about the game. So it's a good way to, to sort people out.
Yeah, but at the very end, you want like people to actually come and try it, because like if they're detracted by it, it's like the sort of about it. And let's be honest, they released AION 2 unfinished because their stocks were taking a big fucking dive. They haven't had a successful release in fucking ages. Throne Liberty was a disaster. Blade and Soul New was a disaster. Classic was a success in Korea, but a total disaster in the West. Lineage, so they needed something to, bring Fate back into the company. So there we go. Do you know if AGS will be hosting the servers in the Western release? No, they're not. It's going to be NC America responsible for the publishing in the game. Like, why did they keep status effect RNG and not get rid of it like pure damage RNG? You're asking the wrong question, bro. Listen, if NCSoft employs me, this is one of the first questions I'm going to ask in the job interview. One more thing, I'd like them to add in sync stones from extracting unique gear, so you can have a chance to increase your closet items and also have mats for soul binding. Now I have to keep most of the items for soul binding and kind of hope to get unique outfits. Oh, Matson, this I had an idea and I posted on the global Discord. How about you remember Traitor Knockstone was in Throne and Liberty? How about the other like a morphing item where you sacrifice, I don't know, 12 pieces of gear or 20, and you get a stone that guarantees a Soulbind? Would you like to see such a thing in the game so you can roll your stats like
Oh boy.
easier?
Let me just add. Let me just like start by saying that the Soulbind system is the single one system that is the worst in the game to
Yeah.
me, at least. It's the
Absolutely
only
fucking
system
agree.
I truly dislike. Right?
Yep.
I actually thought about this. So you have two paths they can take. Number one, they give us guaranteed chosen Soulbinds, right? By sacrificing more items or whatever. Number two, they take the Path of Exile route, which is they could make like let's say, attack Soulbind Stone and a defense Soulbind Stone and a support Soulbind Stone, right? And then when you use those, it only rolls the stat of that specific family.
Yo.
Right? And this way they could spread them evenly across the content. And this way, like let's say in the dungeons, you have a reason to
Similar
go back to Dramata.
the runes, right? Like
Yeah,
it's,
like,
because
yeah, exactly. Like you
Yeah.
have a reason to go back to Dramata because it gives the defense Soulbind Stones, right? But then if they do something like that, they would have to remove I mean, in general, I think they have to do that. They have to remove the grade difference. I think it should be a Soulbind Stones for every grade of gear instead of being separated by orange, yellow, etc. Right? But personally, I would like that a bit more. So this way it keeps the RNG, but this way you can target a stat a bit more, and they can also gamify it by encouraging us to do different types of content for different types of
one of the things I like about Tentu is the replayability of content, because some of your heroic gear is like in other users, so you have a reason to do them. If that makes sense. So I do like
also,
that aspect.
I mean, I guess they could also like take from Throne as well, in the sense that if you have a piece of equipment of the same grade that has a Soulbind line on it that you want to use it, then maybe you can transfer that specific Soulbind line into the piece of equipment that you have, right? That also adds replayability. So there's different things they can do. Either way, the current way the Soulbind system doesn't fucking fly, and it's gonna have to change before it comes to the West.
What changes to class synergies do you think will happen next week?
I think it's mostly going to be damage related. I think the damage tolerance is gonna stay. But I think like you know how every class gives like damage boost and
reduces
defenses, damage tolerance for monsters and so on and so forth, right? I think those are gonna go. Like for example, on Light of Protection for Cleric, I think the 20% damage boost is gonna go, and they're just going to increase Cleric's personal DPS, right? Like I think it's stuff like that they're going to do.
Do you think they're gonna reduce the stats before global release? I feel like there's too many redundant stats. I do think there's too many redundant stats. I would much rather they combine certain things, but I don't know, because you have to keep in mind, why do we have some random shitty stats in the game? They only serve as canon for so there's a chance for you to roll the shittier one instead of going straight to the good one, right? And until recently, we could go from mana regen into mana regen straight back to back. Now you can go to mana regen to HP regen back to mana regen. So there you go. There's the fix. Take it if you like it. No, if not, fuck it. I love you guys. There's way too many stats rolling. Yep. Wouldn't they just make damage amplification exclusive to healer? What do you mean? To healing to. Oh, you mean? I see. The damage boost to healers only. Okay. That would be a good change. I see what you mean, Yuki. Yeah, that's what we said, Vihar. Related to like buffs and damages, like damage related, damage tolerance, damage attack, damage boost.
I mean, I can say it again.
Just repeat it, yeah.
All right. So
I mean, he plays Templar, bro.
Hot take, guys.
I'm joking. I love you, bro.
Here's my hot take, guys. You're gonna want to be here to hear this. Yeah. I think the damage tolerance is gonna be here to stay. So stuff like Warding Strike and the defense on Light of Regen is gonna stay, and use steals and so on and so forth. I think the damage related synergies are gonna go. So anything that is like the damage boost on Light of Protection on Cleric, they're gonna remove it and increase Cleric's personal DPS. Anything like the damage tolerance reduction on Chain of Torment or Corrosion, they're gonna remove it. They're going to increase the personal DPS of these classes instead. I think that's what's gonna happen. There you go.
Fair. What do you think of other classes now? Oh, this is one thing we didn't discuss. Thank you, bro, this was something to like class identity. I do feel like, and probably Martin will disagree, but like to me, most classes, by and large, play the same. You have left, right, E spam, similar to Blade and Soul. There is like, if you play an Assassin and Gladiator, is you have the damage buffs, you have overhead slam, for Gladiator the spam, Chanter has Dark Rush E spam, and Assassin have Hardcore, for example. Rangers, I forgot their skills, but you know what I mean. So I don't know. I wish they sort of move away from the zero cooldown spammable skills and make it so that, first of all, they're already moving in the right direction where we have more stigmas available. Ideally, I would love to see 8 stigmas at the same time. Probably that would fuck the balance even more, but it would give us more chances to have something that further something that resembles rotation. God forbid. But I don't know. We'll see.
I do think class homogenization is something that just happens on modern MMOs, so I think it's inevitable. Although I will say that I don't really like the spammable window skills, like the Dark Rush and the Judgment and Overhead Slam.
I hate it.
Not a fan of these. I wish they just removed the procs for these entirely. And I think it's fine to have a skill that opens a window, but the window should be like either 3 seconds or it should be a limited amount of amounts of spam. Like it's you use the skill
5
and
or
you can use the other skill 5 times, right?
Yeah. Interesting. Oh, okay. They mentioned they're gonna have a new class. What do you think there's gonna be like? I mean, that they mentioned it like a half a year ago because they're gonna I know. Listen, I understand they haven't balanced all the classes we have now. It's too early to even think about a new class, but based on the fact that they said it's not going to be based on an AION 1 class, what do you think it could be?
Brother, it's Namjoon. We said this earlier. It's the same dude. He wants to accomplish the vision he had for the game. You just have to look at the vision trailer. It's either going to be a Crossbow class or it's going to be a Scythe class.
Oh, the Scythe. Yeah. I agree. Scythe class.
That's all there is to it. So I'm betting on Crossbow personally because Namjoon loves his fucking crossbows, but we'll see.
No, but bro, like fuck crossbows. Already have a range. Why do you know crossbows? Fuck, Scythe would be nice. Scythe would be nice.
Either way, it's going to be a DPS because if you want a class to be popular, you have to make it a DPS. So, like, there's a reason why ION Classic only released fucking DPS as new classes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, look, okay, this guy. You see this NPC with the Scythe? Maybe it's that. Because to be honest, even in ION 1 earlier, we had like executioner type of mobs in like 4.0. They had the weapons already, so maybe it would be this type of class. I can totally see this happening, chat. And if this, because we have the spear, because in ION 1, the spear class was essentially a Scythe, right? For gladiators, for the most part. So I do feel like this could be like, oh my god, dude,
there's a ton of mobs in ION 2 that uses a Scythe.
If it's a Scythe, dude, I would dish my chanter faster than my ex dish me, right? It's just gonna like, bro, fucking give me that shit, okay?
Like
we have Ikit and
then again, it's NC soft. It's gonna be like it's gonna be a fucking, I don't know, dude. The hand of God, and that you just fight with your fucking hand. I don't know, dude. NC Self comes up with some wacky shit. I have no idea, but yeah, I'm betting on Crossbow. We'll see.
I don't want Crossbow. It's gonna be too similar to freaking Bow, bro. Bow already feels like a fucking Gatling gun.
Yeah, I mean,
why would they?
That's not gonna stop them, though.
Yeah, but Crossbow is fucking disgusting. Okay, chat, keep them coming. Anything else? Questions? Questiones? What about Gunslinger for my own one? Dude, you know what? I'm gonna get publicly lynched for this, but I wanna see, and I won't, but I wanna see either tech from ION 1 with ION 2's combat. Oh my god, dude, that would be fucking insane. Like, I'm guessing
I think I'd rather jump off a cliff, actually.
Yeah, well, good way on your way down, bro. I would still be enjoying my
I'll do a flip.
Bad forever. Delete your Twitch account. You wish. Okay. Any last questions? If not, we're moving to the closing round, and then I would bid you farewell. Wait, my cleric friend complains a lot about the resurrection skills being a stigma skill. When she usually pugs, they never wait for res and feels like it's a wasted stigma skill slot. Do they plan to do anything about this? I mean, it feels like a group problem that they don't wait for the skill, bro. I don't think they should fix it. Matsin, you play a cleric? What you think?
Yeah. Remove resurrection from the game in general. Thanks for coming.
Make it
No,
harder so people can't
Yeah,
fucking
I mean,
cheese
more
mechanics.
seriously though, like I don't know, it's just one of clerics. It's just one of clerics like main stake, right? You're taking a cleric in your group because of the
the res.
resurrection, like 9 times out of 10, right? So
Yeah.
it's are you using a stigma stuff for it? Yeah, but it's also the reason why you're getting taken into sanctuary to begin with. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, personally, I wish they would just genuinely on the topic of resurrection, just to go on that real fast. I wish they just adopted a life system with the PvE in this game in general. Like remove resurrection, remove self-resurrection. Just make it so you have a limited amount of like personal self-resurrection per content category. So dungeons, you can self-res 3 times. Transcendence, you can self-res 2 times.
Raids one
Sanctuary, you
time.
can self-res 1 time, right? And once you run out of self-res, that's it, GG's. You don't rely on a specific class. It's just on you, right? I would personally prefer to see it this way.
If that happens, that means I'll be locked out of raids forever.
I mean,
Scary try now. Oh my god, if you've seen our raid earlier, bro.
no.
Okay.
It just sucks right now because
Man.
any PvE content that isn't Sanctuary is just completely trivialized by the infinite self-res, right? And then Sanctuary in itself, you just kind of rely on the cleric not fucking up, right? So, I would like to see a life system personally.
All right. What is your ping? 175. All right. And I guess it's time to close it. Blitz round. It might be repeating myself, but I think it's a nice way to summarize everything we said. What are the top 3 things you love about AION 2 and what are the top 3 things you hate about it?
To
summarize.
God, that's a loaded question. The top 3 thing I love about AION 2.
Yeah.
I love how non-restrictive the game feels. You can just log in and do whatever the fuck you want.
Okay.
I love how God. I really appreciate the direction they're taking with PvE, but I wish they would make it harder. But obviously, it's a bit early for the game, right? It's only 4 months in. But I do appreciate the fact that the PvE is actually quite competent because it's been a while since we've seen an MMO have competent PvE, right?
Yeah.
I will not say the gooning, chat. I will not goon, all right?
Listen, Bobas are
gooning
live.
around.
Bobas are live. Yeah.
And there's one thing actually that I feel like people really undervalue with this game, and it's how fluid the movement and traversal is in this game. Like going from sprinting to mounting to walking to flying to landing. This is an Unreal Engine 5 game. It's a modern game. These games tend to be very, very clunky, very sluggish, very slow. This game is it feels fucking good, dude. To the point where I actually logged into AION 1 to get some footage of a video recently. Bro, it feels like moving a semi-truck in comparison. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially with this sort of momentum, like you have to gain with that. It felt so sluggish.
So yeah, I will give them that. The movement is great. And I will add a bonus point. I love how reactive the devs are with the update in this game. In 4 months, this game has changed so much. I've never seen this in my life before. I have played many MMOs. I have never seen a development team that was this involved with the community and this fast to answer to player complaint. It is insane.
Thanks for the follow.
So, there you go.
I mean, we had like the main devs guys like literally doing like community events as well, dressing up and stuff. So
yeah.
You know, when you watch the live dev stream, if he hasn't shaved, you know the community is eating well, right? Because they haven't fucking slept. Bless them. And what are the 3 things you hate about it?
The 3 things that I hate about AION 2 is how cramped the world feels compared to AION 1, because In Iron 1, the maps were pointlessly big sometimes. Everything felt very grand, right? Like every door was huge, every mountain was massive, right? The
Yeah.
open world was just big, right? And you just got a lot more opportunities to like encounter people in like small nook and crannies and have like fights away from the main road. Whereas in Iron 2, okay, basically Iron 2, the PvP maps, specifically the Abyss, are very much designed in a similar fashion to the Eye of Tamaranta. Quick traversal, it makes a circle, quick loop, right? Immediate gratification, you just go in, you PvP. And it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Personally, I would like for the world to feel a bit bigger, especially when it comes to PvP.
I saw one of your videos
What,
where you mentioned about the key abilities that they're too dense. Like this sort of
Yeah.
removes the whole point of like you moving across the map because then you just res full like full life, no CD. You just go back to the same location, just kill the shit out of them. So
Yeah, exactly. Like
yeah.
that is another thing actually. I mean that is a bit of a petty. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have two petty complaints, and I'm gonna make that as the two
Go.
things that I hate.
Okay.
Number one, the game is too convenient, and that is just a modern MMO thing. Personally, I like to have some friction in my game, right? I do like to have some amount of travel time. I do like to have consequence for my actions,
Same.
right? And Iron 2 in that front is, it's kind of like thrown in the sense that if you die in PvP, you res, full life, full cooldown,
No soul
no resurrection
sickness.
penalty, nothing. You just go back in, right? And that feels okay, but it also leads to problem where when you're doing a PvP encounter, people constantly reinforce at full health, right? It just kind of sucks. Same thing as just as you said in open world PvP, you're fighting. Anyone is always 10 seconds away from a Kibalisk, right? So they can
Yeah.
call for reinforcement, bitch teleport, and they come Zergio, right? So in that front, the game is too convenient. Also, personally, I am a sucker for traveling to dungeons and everything. I think it adds to the game. I know not everyone loves it, but again, it is a modern MMO thing, so I understand. So
This
just
point
broadly,
specifically.
yeah,
I love this.
it's just broadly, it's convenient to a fault. Basically, there's many other examples, but yeah, that is
The death by quality of life, right?
yeah, that's the that's the title of my video, guys. He's so funny.
We got a fanboy over here.
Yeah, and then a second really petty complaint that I have for the game, and look, I have other things that I dislike more than this, but it is a personal petty complaint that I keep having, is the SFX design in this game is decent, but Iron 1 sound effects on abilities that give you sound cues for everything was so incredibly good and crunchy and crispy, and I'm missing that. Like in Iron 1, if someone is casting a fear, you know, right? Like there's sound cues to everything. There's a sound cue to getting dispelled.
It sounds very unified here. Like it's
yeah, and here it's a lot more muted, and I get it. The combat is faster, right? So if you make really loud sound effects, it's gonna sound annoying.
Brother, but sounds like you need to increase the volume of your sound effect settings. Maybe I don't fucking know.
It's not just the volume, all right. It's just the way things sound. It's hard to differentiate. Like Iron 2 has crippling wave, like
yeah.
And when you look at the crippling wave from Iron 1, it had that crunchy sound, right?
Yeah,
In Iron 2, it's just thump, Same thing. I just have to mention Frostbite from Iron 1, and you will immediately have the sound play in your head. I just have to mention the Dispel from SM, and you will have the sound play in your head. You know what I mean? I'm missing a bit of that. I'm missing this really peculiar sound design of Iron 1, basically.
Get the hearing aid too, Mats.
Getting old,
the fucking old bitch. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
31.
Guess my age. Chat, guess my age.
I mean, I don't know, dude. Like past a certain point, especially when you engage with the bold with beard build, which is really common past 30, it's hard to tell, right?
70, piss off. 38. Chat, 45, 19.
I would probably say you're in your mid 30s. Yeah.
So like what, 34, 35?
Yeah, something like that. Probably close to me, honestly.
I'm 24, dude.
Damn.
No, I'm joking. I'm 28. No, I'm 28.
Right.
I'm 28.
I mean, yeah, you're pretty close to me then. Yeah,
I'm 28. Oh my god, chat, relax. I'm 28. Listen.
But it's like I said, right? Like you're rocking the bold with beard build. Like that shit looks the same from age 25 to age 55. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Why do you think I like? Why do you think I buy so many skins in games? Because I want to look different, you know? Because I'm like, pretty average, right?
no, I think you're okay, bro. I think you'll just find the way you are.
Call me after the stream ends, okay? Now,
Right.
now about my top 3 things and top things I love and hate. Top things I love about the game: visuals and music. I think they've done a fantastic job about the soundtrack. The sort of, it's a modern reinterpretation of what AION 1 soundtrack was. I think it's absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. I like the combat in the sense of like how responsive it feels and how smooth it feels. Not so much the lack of depth to it, but it's a very, very good combat system in the sense of, you know, fast pace and, you know, skill effects, stuff like that. I think they've nailed it. And the third thing is how fast and how, first of all, how many dungeons we have, and also how fast they're churning out new content, because the sort of one of the reasons why so many new MMOs fail is they take fucking ages to get new content for players past release, because most players compare it to games that have been out for 20 years and they say like, well, back in all I have like 30 fucking dungeons to do, and in AION or TNL I have like 3 to do, for example. I know it's not the case, but just as an example, right? Did we say this? Did I say 3? Visuals, combat, content, yeah. And then the things I hate the number of stats we have in the game. This is a hill I'm gonna die on. Number 2, I hate the soul binding system. I absolutely fucking disgusting piece of shit. And I hate the optimization in the game. I'm sorry, but like the view distance, like, it's just atrocious. They really need to work on that.
Yeah.
Like it's especially if you're going to the abyss, like you're flying and unless you're paying good attention to your minimap, like you walk into a zerg without knowing them where the fuck they came out of. It's a problem for me, and it takes away from that immersion when you walk in the open world, because like you're walking, there's no one around you. One step further, 30 people around you, like mobs and shit, and I'm like, okay, chill, bro. So I'm not gonna comment on the
distance is even worse. Like you see someone, you can't target them. It's like, huh?
Rendering, yeah.
They need to fix that.
I mean, there's always like PvP and stuff, but I'm not gonna go into that because for me it's a PvE focused game with an optional PvP, but that's a different topic. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching. I hope this was of use. Let us know if you would like to see this type of format returning with Matsin or like different guests, so we can discuss patch notes, reviews, upcoming content, balance, topics, blah, 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 blah. You guys are the judges of that, so there we go. Matsin, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I know you're a busy lad, and I hope with... let me... guys, he's an amazing content. If AION 2 doesn't respect your time, then Matsin does, because his content is actually fucking great. So give him a shout out to Matsin. Follow him on YouTube and Twitch. Do you know when the servers are gonna come back up? In like 6 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. So again, thank you for watching. Matsin, love you, brother. And maybe chat, maybe next week, depending what news they drop on Tuesday. Maybe Matsin, if you're free, maybe we can sort of, during the maintenance, we can do this, or later during the week, because I know you're probably gonna do a patch breakdown, so up to you. I am gonna be traveling next week, Sunday. I'm gonna be away for 2 weeks, so you know, we can arrange something maybe. We'll see,
for sure.
depending on your availability.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I can make space, dude. Like it's okay. I never take breaks, dude. Everyone knows that, so yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
same.
thanks for having me.
No worries.
Thanks
It was
for
a
having me. It
pleasure.
was fun.
It was a pleasure, brother.
Hopefully,